It was a summoned beast, despised by the whole world. However, the moment I summoned it, I was so ecstatic that I hugged it and kissed it like crazy. Seeing this, my classmates all started mocking me for being a genius. Even the homeroom teacher, who originally had high hopes for me, angrily scolded me for wasting his efforts. I just smiled without saying a word. Instead, I sold everything I owned to buy a full 100 pounds of lean monster meat. To awaken the hidden talent within the little pup, I patted its little head. A contract prompt suddenly echoed in my mind: loyalty will never betray. Do you wish to establish a lifebound connection? Without hesitation, I chose yes. Amidst a soul-tearing agony, I screamed and collapsed to the ground. The surrounding classmates thought I couldn't handle the blow and started mocking me again. My school beauty girlfriend, Lu Ruyan, walked over. With a hint of apology, she said, "I'm sorry. The college entrance exam is the only chance for people from ordinary families like us to climb the social ladder. Liu Liang, the Lancer, has already agreed to team up with me, so I won't be partying up with you." I calmly stood up and replied, "No problem." Hearing my nonchalant response, the word she was about to use to explain herself got stuck in her throat. A feeling of being disregarded welled up in her heart. She let out a cold snort, then mercilessly turned around to leave. A girl nearby shot me a look of disgust. "He's definitely just pretending not to care. Ruyan, you didn't do anything wrong. Why are you being so humble? He could only summon a palm-sized black dog. What makes him think he's worthy of you?" However, I completely ignored the two of them, because after the lifebound connection was completed, I discovered that the little pup had awakened rank talent, greed and gluttony. It can convert all consumed food into energy, ignoring all limits, breaking through growth barriers, and evolving to the primordial level. Looks like that pain wasn't for nothing. Looking at the entire Great CI, the number of people who have awakened an SSS rank talent can be counted on one hand. Every time a new one appears, the nation places immense importance on them and provides top-tier protection. The reason, naturally, is that they are simply too powerful. I grabbed the little black dog and pulled it in front of me. "From now on, your name is Heiming. You better work hard for me." Heiming licked itself, looking absolutely delighted. I threw him a piece of steak, and it was devoured clean in no time. Devoured ordinary meat. Evolution value, plus 0.5. As the voice echoed, Heiming's size grew by a barely noticeable margin. All of its basic stats increased by 1 point, and that was just from eating an ordinary steak. If it can devour more food later on, what kind of terrifying level would it reach? Thinking of this, my heart couldn't stop racing. And what surprised me even more was that my own strength seemed to have increased a bit as well. It seems my cheat allows a portion of the energy gained by the summoned beast to be fed back to me. First, I spent over $6,000 to buy a full 100 pounds of mutated lean meat. With a mere thought, I summoned Heiming. Seeing the bright red mutated lean meat in front of it, Heiming felt an intense craving to devour welling up from deep within. It immediately opened its mouth and started tearing into it, frantically converting all the mutated meat it consumed. As it continuously devoured, boundless energy surged through Heiming's entire body. Its size was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye, expanding rapidly. At the same time, I also felt every part of my body being enhanced. Half an hour passed. Heiming's size had skyrocketed to over 2 meters. All my stats had increased by 10 points, even across all classes. This was outstanding. Heiming's almost cheat-like way of getting stronger allowed me to quickly close the gap with others. Thinking of this, I hesitated no longer and clicked the system's evolution button. The moment I confirmed, the terrifying origin of Heiming's talent trembled deep within its body. Suddenly, surges of special, black evolutionary power erupted, cells divided, genes recombined, and its life form leaped toward a higher tier. Congratulations, your summoned beast, Heiming has acquired the skill. Rend, congratulations, your summoned beast Heiming has awakened a new talent. Gigantification increases body size by 3 times, strength and defense by 300%, but reduces speed by 50%. With this evolution, all of Heiming's stats broke through the 50-point mark, and this was only at level 1. Even top-tier summoned beasts couldn't compare. The human race categorized summoned beasts into 4 levels: low, mid, high, and top. The judging criterion was their talent. S rank was high tier, SS rank was top tier. As for summoned beasts with SS rank talents, none had ever appeared before. Afterward, I took Heiming home to sleep, ready to see what kind of freaks and monsters would show up at tomorrow's exam. The next day, countless exam participants gathered at the plaza. Lu Wen was explaining in detail the things to watch out for when entering the dungeon. For this college entrance exam, students from several top-tier high schools are grouped together. The competition is going to be absolutely fierce. Liu Liang, who was originally brimming with confidence, was now sweating bullets. Chen Lin, why did you even bother showing up? You might as well just give up. Save yourself the humiliation. There's a good saying, if you don't compete, you can fool yourself into thinking you never lost. The person speaking was named Ye Chao. Besides him, there was also Liu Ruyan, wearing a mage robe that accentuated her graceful figure. Obviously, they were teammates in a party. I ignored them. As a bell chimed, 4 massive bronze doors opened simultaneously. From the slightly opened gaps, surges of cold, eerie aura instantly poured out. None of the students hesitated. They immediately checked the information of the dungeons they were about to enter. Crap. Our second high school got assigned the Bone-Bearing Forest. That's one of the dungeons with the highest failure rates. All dungeons have roughly the same difficulty. What are you whining about? You guys from third high school got an easier one, so of course you have no complaints. Seeing this, Lu Wen hurriedly reminded the students behind him the terrain in the Bone-Bearing Forest is complex. The trees and bushes are extremely dense. You must be extremely careful of monster ambushes. Always stay alert to your surroundings. Then, Lu Wen took out something that looked like a watch. This is a recorder made by the mechanics. It can transmit the points you earn in the dungeon to the outside. Soon after, another bell chimed, signaling the official start of the exam. A girl wearing white armor with long ice blue hair and an exquisitely beautiful face was the first to enter the dungeon. It's Su Ling Shu from our third high school. She chose to enter the dungeon solo. The more people in a party, the less points each person gets. Those with real strength naturally choose to go solo. Countless underclassmen sitting around the plaza excitedly discussed among themselves. With a thought, I connected to the dungeon. Instantly, a white light enveloped me alone. I also chose to run the dungeon solo. After everyone had entered the dungeons, a level 20 middle-aged man waved his hand, and 4 water screens began projecting the scenes from inside. Right at that moment, a flash of white light appeared. A student from second high school had chosen to voluntarily exit the dungeon. All the teachers from second high school exchanged glances and simultaneously lowered their heads in silence, feeling many mocking gazes directed at him. Li Mingji's face darkened. He stared at the water screen without saying a word. As the image on the water screen slowly shifted, a lone young man suddenly appeared. He was looking around, observing his surroundings in the dense forest. Li Mingji looked surprised. Going solo? During yesterday's class awakening at our second high school, did we produce a student with such outstanding strength? Hearing this, Lu Wen didn't know what to say. He knew very well that I was just an ordinary summoner. However, inside the dungeon, after a brief moment of dizziness, I immediately perked up and observed my surroundings. Suddenly, the sound of something dropping echoed. Without a shred of hesitation, I clenched my left hand and a meter-long staff materialized out of thin air. A dark green worm, as thick as a bucket, instantly lunged down from above. Its head split wide open, revealing rows of terrifying, dense teeth. I gripped the staff and drew a streak of white light from the other end, instantly piercing through the dark green worm's body. The worm, split cleanly in half, fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. You have successfully killed a venom-toothed worm! Gained 5 XP at the same time. The device on my wrist flashed a notification. Points plus 115. Outside, everyone was dumbfounded. Isn't he a summoner? But that reflex and speed, only someone with high agility could pull that off. Lu Wen was equally bewildered, although I had performed very well in combat practice classes before. It was never this absurd. After killing the dark green worm, I headed toward the heart of the forest. Just then, accompanied by eerie, incomprehensible shrieks, short, ugly creatures with bright green skin appeared one after another. I recognized them at a glance. Goblins. Textbooks described them as vicious by nature, prone to rapid reproduction, and willing to cannibalize their own kind when food is scarce. I did a rough estimate. There were probably around 50 or 60 of them. If this many swarmed me at once, it would be almost impossible for me to survive. I immediately called out to Hyming in my mind. Instantly, a flash of white light appeared, and a long, resonant wolf howl echoed through the forest canopy, Hyming's cold, vertical pupils. Locked onto the horde of goblins rushing forward, bearing its fangs, it pushed off with all four limbs, and shot forward like a cannonball. The goblin at the very front instantly had its skull shattered, flying backward with unabated momentum. The goblins on the left and right shrieked, raising their weapons and smashing them down with all their might. Sharp bone clubs struck Hyming's back, only to crack and shatter with a loud snap. Hyming swiped a massive claw fiercely at a goblin's head. That goblin's head exploded instantly. Hyming completely abandoned defense, tearing through them in a frenzied massacre as if no one was there to stop it. Even the low IQ goblins felt a deep instinctual fear. They stopped their attack and scattered in panic, fleeing in all directions. "Since you're here, don't even think about leaving," I directed Hyming on which way to pursue, while I charged at the nearest goblin myself. Seeing this brutal scene, the crowd outside was in an uproar. Holy crap, Second High School has such a badass senior. It's one thing for his summoned beast to be strong, but how does he have such high combat power himself? He must be hacking in Second High School's spectator area. The freshmen and sophomores were flushed with excitement. Just over 10 minutes ago, when people saw me encounter the goblins, almost everyone assumed I was going to be eliminated. Yet, just one man and one beast slaughtered the entire goblin horde, leaving none alive. Seeing this, Li Mingji's face lit up with joy. To reach this level so quickly, his talent must be at least B rank, and it's a growth-type talent. That potential is practically on par with a high-tier summoned beast. Second High School is finally going to produce a genius who can carry our reputation. He hurriedly asked the person behind him, "How many points does Chen Lin have now?" According to the recorder's calculations, his current score is 560 points. He's ranked first in our Second High School. But Su Lingshui from Third High School is even more terrifying. Her score is 830, leading the entire field by a massive margin. Hearing this, Li Mingji and the other teachers gasped. It hasn't even been 20 minutes since the dungeon started, and she's already qualified to compete for the provincial top scorer. Inside the dungeon, orbs of light floated out from the goblin corpses and merged into my body. My level quickly reached level 2. Spirit slightly increased by 5 points. This was the drawback of an ordinary class. Even if I kept up with leveling, the gap would only widen as time went on, eventually becoming an insurmountable chasm. However, I could rely on Hyming's energy feedback to bridge that gap. Although my score had already reached the passing mark, and getting admitted to an academy was practically guaranteed, my goal didn't stop there. At this moment, Hyming was crunching away, devouring the goblin corpses. "Hyming, let's go. The real hunt begins now." Goblins are pack monsters. Since a troop of them appeared here, there must be a nest nearby. About 10 minutes passed. We didn't encounter a single monster along the way, which made me even more certain of my guess. They call it a dungeon, but it's more like a unique, isolated realm. Everything inside doesn't just automatically respawn. It operates according to natural laws. Suddenly, several bone spears were hurled through the air at us. Goblins emerged from all directions, howling and shrieking. As they charged with their weapons raised, my expression remained completely unfazed. Without a hint of fear, my staff shifted into its sword form. In an instant, I decapitated a goblin. I fought like a one-man army, my focus entirely locked in, rapidly slaughtering this fragile horde of goblins. With every dodge, my blade precisely claimed their lives. At this moment, I was like a butterfly dancing in the wind, and my wings were the scythes of death. This elegant, art-like combat had the audience outside cheering in awe. Everyone from Second High School, teachers and students alike, looked pleasantly surprised. His combat techniques are so masterful, he must have put a ton of effort into this. His swordsmanship is even more impressive. 4 precise throat slits. A millimeter off, and it wouldn't have been a kill. Now, they weren't even watching anyone else. All eyes were glued to me, not looking away for a single second. Lu Wen's mouth twitched. In 3 years of high school, he had never once seen me touch a sword during combat practice. This kid is too good at hiding his true strength. Oh no, those are level 6 enraged goblins, a full 13 of them. Chenlin is in trouble. Wait, there are also fire goblins and frost goblins. Searching for a goblin nest all by himself, it's still too risky. All the teachers couldn't help but feel worried. After these special goblins appeared, the rest of the horde seemed to find their backbone. They no longer attacked haphazardly. As the fire goblins began to chant, fist-sized fireballs materialized and shot toward me. I dodged them one by one with a few quick evasions. The other goblins seized the opportunity to strike. I slightly tilted my head to dodge a thrusting spear, then instantly reached out, grabbed that goblin by the neck, and hurled it into the air, right into the path of an incoming fireball. Brilliant flames exploded, engulfing the goblin's body. I continued acting as a human catapult, tossing goblins like cannonballs, right at the fire goblins. My God, you can fight like that? All the students watching outside were stunned. Homeroom teacher Lu Wen was also dumbfounded. He definitely hadn't taught this attack method. By now, I had smashed the fire goblins into a dizzy stupor. If they cast spells, they'd hit their own kind. If they didn't, they'd be killed. Amidst the chaotic skirmish, Haiming had also slaughtered its way to the backline, taking them out one by one. Out of over 100 goblins, only a sparse few remained. They had no choice but to flee. But this time, I didn't wipe them out completely. I just leisurely trailed behind them, preparing to destroy their nest directly. Chasing the fleeing remnants of the goblins, I entered a cave. Several scrawny, bright green figures suddenly lunged at me from the rock walls above. I tightened my grip and swung the sword in my hand firmly in one direction. A goblin's head and body fell to the ground separately. The remaining two were caught in the jaws of Haiming, who possessed night vision. With a crunch, it happily swallowed them whole. Suddenly, countless flickers of firelight appeared around the bend of the tunnel. My expression shifted slightly, and I immediately retreated rapidly. Countless ugly figures crawled all over the rock walls. My face grew solemn. As I shouted loudly, Haiming! Haiming's size instantly ballooned at a terrifying speed. Evolution talent! It charged forward fiercely, knocking away the goblins in midair. The surrounding goblins were smashed to pieces. Haiming slammed down a massive paw, crushing them until their bodies burst into a bloody pulp. Just then, a deafening, tyrannical roar echoed. With thick fur around its neck and bulging muscles, a massive, hideous monster the size of a small building slowly stepped out. It slowly walked out, glaring furiously at Haiming. My face darkened. It's actually a troll. The troll took a massive stride and initiated a charge. Instantly, the cave rumbled loudly. With every step it took, the ground quaked. Haiming showed no fear and met it head-on. Black light shimmered on Haiming's sharp claws as they struck the troll first, leaving 4 shallow gashes. Feeling the pain, the troll instantly grew even more enraged. Its meter-wide hands grabbed Haiming's head and hammered down heavily. Haiming's legs buckled and blood seeped from its mouth from the impact. It let out a whimper. Seeing Haiming being suppressed, I quickly cast my class skill. Enhancement. A 20% overall boost. To basic stats, wisps of white light glowed on Haiming's body. Instantly, Haiming flipped the troll onto the ground and tore off a chunk of its flesh with a bite. The troll's eyes turned bloodshot as it activated its bloodlust skill. The two beasts tangled together, fighting more and more frantically. While maintaining the enhancement spell, I also cast healing spells. The commotion spread for hundreds of meters around. The students who heard the noise were all shocked. The bosses in the bone-burying forest are at least level 12. Which madman is actually fighting a boss? A 3-person party rushed over upon hearing the noise, thinking they could help out and get a piece of the pie. But when they arrived at the scene, they were stunned, because the one fighting the boss wasn't a party. It was just me alone. At that moment, I delivered the final blow with my sword. The troll's HP bar dropped from 1 to 0. Throughout the fight, none of the surrounding students dared to intervene. Liu Liang and Liu Ruyan were among them. The two stared blankly ahead. That little wolf turned into this in just one day. At this time, another 4-person party walked over. It was Zhao Huayang from the honors class. He smiled and said, "I didn't expect our school to have such a badass like you. I see your summoned beast is heavily injured. Do you need us to help heal it? Our team has a holy priest with massive healing output." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhao Huiyang was kicked by the cute girl behind him. I looked at them and smiled faintly. No need, but thanks. Hearing this, they prepared to leave, but before leaving, they accidentally caught a glimpse of my score. 5,320? Zhao Huiyang almost cursed out loud. Just then, Liu Ruyan walked over with a flushed face. As soon as she got close, Haiming's blood-red pupils glared at her coldly. Liu Ruyan instantly felt as if she had fallen into an ice cavern. Her legs gave out uncontrollably. I didn't even turn around to look at her, afraid I might fall for her gentleness again. Afterward, I returned to the cave, letting Haiming continue to quietly strengthen itself. After Haiming had eaten all the monsters, a cocoon of energy enveloped it. It seemed this evolution would far surpass the one from the lean meat. I just didn't know what kind of combat power it would have once it came out. Not long after, a pair of sharp claws tore open the cocoon of light. Haiming emerged, its size having grown once again. Its vertical pupils had turned a deep, noble, and icy blue. It also gained new skills, intimidation, and flame. Even its talent had leveled up. It was a complete, all-around metamorphosis. There was still 1 hour left until the exam ended. Riding on Haiming, I started searching for other monster strongholds. 10 minutes later, Haiming and I arrived at the territory of another boss, the level 15 Twisted Treant King. Seeing me head toward the Twisted Treant King, Li Mingji, watching from outside, frowned deeply. He knew that the Twisted Treant King's pop and attack power were more than double that of the troll, and I was only level 4. To bridge such a massive gap in combat power, even across the entire country, such people were as rare as phoenix feathers. Inside the dungeon, the moment I stepped onto the muddy ground, trees with blood-red eyes awakened one after another. Their massive trunks split open, and from the expanding rifts, they uprooted themselves, branches thrust toward me like spears. Yet, I wasn't afraid in the slightest. I charged forward fiercely, instantly drawing the sword from my staff, slashing out 5 times in the blink of an eye. My speed was so fast it left after images. The branches were instantly severed, falling to the ground. My eyes turned cold. I closed the distance to the treant in a few quick strides, thrusting my blade straight into its gaping mouth. Copious amounts of sap poured out of the massive wound like a broken dam. The treant's HP bar instantly emptied, and it crashed to the ground. Seeing their kin die so brutally, all the surrounding treants closed in, brandishing their claws and branches. Just then, Haiming let out a furious roar, tearing the treant in front of it to shreds with a single swipe. Then, pitch-black flames erupted from its body, covering it entirely. It ignited the treants, and the fire continuously spread to the others. The treants shrieked frantically, twisting in terror. However, no matter how much they struggled, they couldn't extinguish the pitch-black flames. The black flames were devouring their life force, burning them away. Seeing this, I was also a bit surprised. I didn't expect Haiming's flame attribute to be this overpowered. Soon, the treants were reduced to ashes in the sea of black fire. The pitch-black flames returned to Haiming's body. The flames acted as an extension of Haiming, allowing it to skip the step of eating meat and absorb energy directly. In just a short time, Haiming and I both leveled up simultaneously. My score shot straight up to 7,120 points. Right at that moment, the ground suddenly exploded. Countless golden branches, as thick as arms, instantly lashed out to strangle us. A furious, savage roar echoed from the distance. Escorted by hundreds of treants, a massive treant king, over 100 meters tall, slowly appeared. I silently took a step back. Even though all my basic stats had surpassed 50 points, charging in would probably mean my doom. I had a very clear understanding of my own limits. Haiming, go get him! Strong enemies should definitely be left to the summoned beast to handle. Haiming's eyes flashed fiercely. Pitch-black flames ignited on its body, as it charged straight at the Twisted Treant King in the center in its strongest form. The black flames greedily devoured everything. Treants continuously let out agonizing howls. I waited for the right moment to jump in and reap the kills. Watching its kin die in agony one by one, the Twisted Treant King let out a long, furious bellow. Countless golden branches shot toward Haiming. Haiming completely ignored defense, sprinting madly toward the Twisted Treant King's main body. Black light shimmered on Haiming's razor-sharp claws as it viciously swiped at the Twisted Treant King, tearing off its bark. The Twisted Treant King's face twisted in rage, and all its branches pierced toward Haiming from different angles. However, relying on its physical defense, Haiming traded blows, injury for injury. The pitch-black flames began to slowly spread upward. The Twisted Treant King's eyes were filled with terror. It could feel its life force being eaten away, bit by bit. The Twisted Treant King was scared and desperately tried to flee. But Haiming let out a roar, and the black flames instantly bound it like chains. Haiming's attacks became even more tyrannical. At this moment, Zhao Huyang's four-person party, who had rushed over to help, gulped. Their faces were full of shock. A level 15 tier 2 boss, the Twisted Treant King, is getting completely dominated? Seeing them, I was also a bit surprised. Just then, the sound of a massive object collapsing echoed. The Twisted Treant King was slain, white light rose from my body, and my level increased to level 8. At the same time, the score on my recorder jumped by another 3,000 points. I left the remaining treants for them to kill. Isn't getting points way too easy for him? Miao Shanshan's mouth fell slightly open. In just 10 minutes, his score has already reached the minimum admission requirement for top-tier academies. Whenever we faced monsters before, didn't we have to go all out? Zhao Huiyang shook his head. It's because Chen Lin's Heiming is too overwhelming. No matter how many of these Trents we kill, not a single one dares to turn back. By now, all the pitch-black flames had flown back into Heiming's body. In its normal state, Heiming's size had grown to 7 meters. All my basic stats had also broken past 70 points. My level had just reached level 10, meaning I could undergo my first-class advancement. This college entrance exam was finally over. The dungeon began forcibly teleporting everyone out. Countless students, enveloped in white light, returned to the spacious plaza, one after another. Instantly, waves of cheers welcomed them. Heiming, with its 7-meter-tall frame, sat obediently beside me, unmoving like a mountain. He actually got first place. Li Mingji and the teachers were flushed with excitement. This is too terrifying. A full 3 talents, and he himself is frighteningly strong too. To kill so many monsters as a summoner, achieving this level is truly unprecedented. Old Lu, you've got yourself a great student. Come on, let's hurry and welcome Chen Lin. Mingji couldn't wait and dragged them over. On the other side, at the edge of the plaza, Liu Ruyun's face was green with regret. She had given up on the dungeon an hour ago, and was eliminated. Her score wasn't even enough to get into a higher academy. It's all his fault. His summoned beast clearly wasn't weak, yet he didn't tell me. If he had told me, I would never have teamed up with Liu Liang. Thinking of this, Liu Ruyun's eyes filled with resentment. Meanwhile, Su Lingsu was also surrounded by the teachers and principal of 3rd High School. They sided each other. 2nd High School really got lucky, producing such a monster. Yeah, Lingshu, don't be discouraged. Your score of 19,500 is already excellent. Su Lingshui smiled, indicating she was fine. Then, she looked curiously toward 2nd High School's direction, deep in thought. Just then, the provincial ranking list was released. Without a doubt, I was ranked first. I could only say that Heiming was truly overpowered. Not only did its growth have no limit, but with every evolution, its combat power became increasingly terrifying. At this point, I was already looking forward to my next summoned beast. After returning home, I shared the news with my sister and mom. Also, the 1 million Huoxia coins reward for being first in the province arrived in my account. From now on, Mom and my sister wouldn't have to live such a frugal life anymore. Afterward, I returned to my room to prepare for my first-class advancement. The advancement required clearing a randomly matched reincarnation dungeon. Looking at the interface, I clicked on the first advancement without hesitation. I instantly vanished from my room. Coordinate ID 08694. This is a world riddled with scars, a world on the brink of collapse. The spark of humanity is about to be extinguished. Will you bring salvation or destruction? Optional Quest 1. Eliminate 1,000 calamity beasts and protect survivors to the best of your ability. Optional Quest 2. Help the calamity broodmother devour everything and evolve. Number of participants 10. Time limit 24 hours. Cannot voluntarily return to Blue Star. I suddenly appeared amidst a pile of ruins without any warning. I frowned slightly and chose Quest 1 without a second thought. If the calamity broodmother devoured everything, what would my Heiming eat? Just then, a figure flew backward through the glass door next to me. Amidst countless shards of glass, a petite girl crashed onto the ground. A blood-red, skinless crawling calamity beast lunged out from the dim store, pouncing toward the girl. The girl struggled to reach for a long saber nearby, but she was a step too late. The fear of death surged in her heart. She instinctively raised her hands to protect herself. Right at that moment, a flash of sword light instantly slashed past. The crawling calamity beast's head was severed from its body. The monster lost its balance mid-air and crashed to the ground. I looked at the stunned girl beside me and said, "Hello, I'm Chen Lin. I'm Lu Yu." I was just about to ask her about the situation in this world when a sharp female voice suddenly rang out. "Something's wrong, everyone, retreat!" Lu Yu's expression instantly changed. She grabbed me and tried to leave. "Hurry, or else!" Before she could finish, a car flew straight at us from a distance. I yanked her back forcefully, tossing Lu Yu behind me. I held my staff horizontally in front of me, intending to take the hit head-on. Under the massive impact of the car, I was pushed back over 10 meters before coming to a complete stop. Lu Yu's face panicked, and enduring her pain, she hurriedly ran over. "Are you okay?" I calmed my churning blood and shook my head. Then I looked ahead at a bipedal calamity beast covered in hideous spikes. "It's a blade demon, we can't escape now." Lu Yu's gaze turned solemn, her fingers unconsciously tightening around her saber's hilt. The blade demon walked faster and faster. The next second, the ground beneath its feet caved in, as it charged forward with all its might. Before Lu Yu could even react, a figure dashed past her, and instantly met the monster head-on. I drew the blade from my staff, clashing against the blade demon's sharp-bladed arms, producing a crisp, ringing sound of metal. The blade demon let out a hiss, swinging its other bladed arm, straight at my head. I forcefully knocked it away, and shouted to Lu Yu, "Lu Yu, give me your saber!" Hearing this, Lu Yu grabbed the hilt without hesitation, drew the saber, and tossed it to me. My eyes blazed with fighting spirit. "Now, let's go again." The blade demon seemed to feel provoked. It instantly lunged forward, swinging its two-bladed arms frantically. I wasn't afraid in the slightest. Wielding a saber in one hand and a sword in the other, we exchanged dozens of blows in just 5 seconds. Our speed was so fast, it left after-images. After over 1,000 clashes, I found an opening. I tilted my head slightly to dodge a fatal strike, then immediately slashed upward with the saber in my left hand. The sharp blade instantly severed the blade demon's arm. Giving it no time to react, I thrust my sword straight into its heart, piercing through its tough skin, and right out its back. Lu Yu, holding her still aching arm, walked over and asked, "You're not from around here, are you?" I didn't confirm or deny it, just smiled faintly. "Could you tell me a bit about this world?" "It's the Sin Aura." The Sin Aura. It lasted for a whole month. More and more people couldn't endure the torment and went mad, eventually turning into monsters that only know how to slaughter. Now, the Sin Aura has mutated again. Even sickles, mountains, and rivers are undergoing calamitous changes. Humanity no longer knows how to survive. After hearing all this, I had a rough understanding of this world. Just then, over a dozen people appeared around the corner of the street. They all had panicked expressions. "Xiao Yu, why are you still here? Run!" Quickly, the tall woman leading them shouted. As soon as she spoke, the ground began to tremble faintly, like an erupting flood surging toward us. A massive amount of crimson aura gathered in the sky above. Suddenly, roars echoed from all directions. Many calamity beasts appeared on the high-rise buildings, their bloodthirsty eyes glaring at everyone. At that moment, the crimson aura formed a wall completely surrounding everyone. As they closed in, everyone's legs slowed down and despair welled up from the bottom of their hearts. Everyone gulped nervously. "Xiao Yu, stay close to me later." After Lulu said that, she glanced at me, assuming I was from another survivor faction. I didn't mind, and walked straight forward. "Wait, what are you doing? We're surrounded right now. This isn't the time for you to play hero." The corners of my mouth curled up. No. They are surrounded by me. With this many calamity beasts, if I kill them all, my rating will skyrocket. Hyming, amidst a flash of white light, the 7-meter-tall Hyming instantly appeared. Its roar echoed through the sky. Hyming's vertical pupils coldly stared at the tide-like horde of calamity beasts ahead. Then, it directly entered its gigantification form. It instantly ballooned to 28 meters. Its body was taller than some of the buildings. Hyming pushed off with all 4 limbs, instantly causing countless cracks to spread across the ground. It charged into the horde of calamity beasts like a missile. Under the scorching heat of its flames, none of the calamity beasts lasted more than a few seconds. Before dying in agonizing howls, turning into nourishment, everyone watching this from behind was completely dumbfounded. Suddenly, over a dozen calamity beasts launched an attack at me. "Watch out!" Seeing this, Lulu immediately called out a warning, her feet moving quickly as she tried to support me. However, the next second, her body froze in place. She saw me advance instead of retreating. With a saber and a sword, like chopping vegetables, I slaughtered all the attacking calamity beasts in the blink of an eye. Lulu's mouth fell wide open. He clearly has no signs of calamitous mutation, so he should be very weak. Suddenly, Lulu thought of a possibility. Half a year ago, while scavenging for supplies, she'd seen people who were similarly unmutated yet incredibly strong. Those people destroyed the survivors' hidden bases, exposing them to the calamity beasts to be killed. Even when they saw the survivors trying to run, they would just break their legs, a bunch of inhuman scumbags, and they even had the nerve to say we were of the same kind. Lulu hadn't forgotten those words to this day. Chenlin is different from those people. He saved me twice. Seeming to notice what Lulu was thinking, Lu Yu hurriedly explained. Lulu took a deep breath, a trace of hatred in her eyes. Regardless, stay away from him. Right now, he's drawn the attention of most of the calamity beasts. Let's use this chance to break out, however. Just as they approached, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck down. No passing through here. Holding a book, a blonde-haired young man walked out from the building as the blonde youth chanted. Orbs of lightning materialized. Right at that moment, my expression instantly changed. I swung my long saber to the side to block. Suddenly, a dagger struck against the blade of my saber. A beautiful, elegant woman slowly revealed herself in front of me. Without hesitation, my sword instantly slashed across her slender waist. But the elegant woman suddenly vanished, reappearing dozens of meters away. She didn't say a word. I pushed off the ground forcefully and charged straight at her. Seeing this, the elegant woman immediately shouted, "Aren't you going to attack?" As her words fell, a surging wave of flames burst out from the building. We clashed together, sparks flying everywhere. "Are you really a summoner?" The burly man within the flames clicked his tongue. As the scorching flames rushed at my face, my expression remained cold. I knocked him back with my sword. From different directions, 4 people stepped out. Killing each other is forbidden in reincarnation dungeons. Once discovered, you'll be immediately wanted. But reincarnation dungeons with faction divisions are the exception. I didn't expect someone to actually choose. Quest 1. Does your great Exia not teach you how to make decisions in reincarnation dungeons to increase your chances of survival? The calamity beasts obviously have the biggest advantage. Anyone with a brain should know what to choose. These 6 people treated me like prey that had fallen into their trap. I simply said calmly, "Have you guys ever heard a saying? The highest tier hunters often appear in the form of prey. I drew you all here so conspicuously. How could I not be confident in dealing with you? You all spoke very beautifully just now. As a reward, I invite you all to die. How about it?" I gradually began to smile. The dishes are all served. It's time for Heiming to feast. A tyrannical roar echoed in all directions. Pitch-black flames from hundreds of meters around merged into the giant black wolf. Instantly, its size grew by another 8 meters, making it look even more ferocious and intimidating. Everyone instantly felt a deep fear radiating from their souls. Watching the giant black wolf charge at them, a chill instantly shot up from the soles of the 4 people's feet to the tops of their heads. Their brains were almost crushed by the terror. Finally, just as the giant black wolf's claws were about to slam down, 3 of them overcame their mental paralysis and instantly scattered to dodge. The last unlucky bastard didn't even manage to let out a scream before being instantly torn apart by the giant black wolf. Seeing this scene, the remaining people broke out in cold sweat. They originally thought that stalling the summoned beast would be enough. But as a summoner, not only did he have combat power matching theirs, but this summoned beast, aside from its tyrannical physical strength and terrifying damage output, also had crowd control skills, let alone stalling it. It would be hard not to get completely wiped out by it within 3 minutes. Seeing the giant black wolf charge toward the next closest person, the blonde youth gritted his teeth and rapidly chanted a string of arcane words. Instantly, violent lightning intertwined, forming half-meter-thick chains that coiled around and instantly bound the giant black wolf's limbs and neck. "Hurry up and kill him! I can only hold it for 10 seconds. But before the blonde youth could finish his sentence, he saw the giant black wolf yank its right paw forcefully, shattering the lightning chains completely. How is that possible? That's my A-rank talent. The blonde youth was dumbfounded. After I applied the enhancement spell, Heiming's strength had surged another level. Seeing this, no one dared to hesitate anymore. They immediately used their respective trump cards. The elegant woman turned into several shadows, thrusting at me from different angles. Suddenly, countless ice spikes appeared above my head, raining down, and forcing me to continuously retreat. I saw a girl with ice-colored long hair walking over gracefully. Centered around her feet, the ground was slowly covered in frost. Any calamity beasts that got close were unsurprisingly frozen into statues. I'll hold him off. The burly man, surging with flames, charged straight at me. The other three attacked simultaneously, trying to one-shot me. But just then, a loud roar echoed. "Look at me, you little brats!" Taunt skill activated. Instantly, all three of them turned their heads, their gazes fixed fiercely on the large, heavy-set man holding a shield. Then, a giant black wolf appeared behind the three who had lost their senses. The next second, it struck with its palm. 3 people became 4 pieces. Then, Hai Ming turned. Its claws swiped at a nearby building. Countless fragments of stone shot toward the green-clad woman. One by one, the stones tore through her clothes and pierced her skin. Hai Ming instantly caught up. It raised its claws and slammed them down. Dark flames completely engulfed her body. On the other side, a blast of icy air suddenly erupted. Everything in its path, buildings and life alike, turned into ice sculptures. The burly man was instantly frozen solid. And with that, only one of the 7 prey remained. Then, everyone turned their murderous gazes toward the blonde young man. The blonde youth's face instantly turned deathly pale. After unleashing a barrage of lightning, he turned and ran. With just a few flashes, I dodged them all. Then, with a swing of my long saber, the blonde youth's head was separated from his body. I turned back and asked, "Do you know about the disaster mother beast?" Lu Yu nodded. "It's a being that stood out from countless disaster beasts and regained its consciousness. Are we going to kill the disaster mother beast?" I nodded. "We probably have to kill it to get the highest possible score. It would also be a way to bring a sliver of salvation to this world." Just then, Su Ling Su walked over. "We meet again!" Chenelin, holy crap! Before I could answer, the large, heavy-set man spoke in shock. "Big bro, you're that Dongtian, the provincial champion. No wonder you're so strong." After chatting for a while, the 3 of us became more familiar with each other. I also learned that the big guy's name was Luo Xuan. I told the 2 of them about my plan to kill the disaster mother beast. Without a second thought, they both agreed. The 3 of us set off immediately, heading towards the city center. Soon, we arrived in front of a large bridge. Suddenly, the red eyes of countless disaster beasts lit up. They swarmed toward us frantically. Hai Ming immediately unleashed its intimidating aura. Then it charged toward the horde of disaster beasts that filled the entire street. A massive tide of them. Dark flames exploded. My expression darkened. "The disaster mother beast, it's found us." Su Lingshu's eyes were covered in an icy blue light, making her look like an indifferent goddess. Instantly, sharp and piercing icicles materialized above her head. With a slight shift in Su Lingjue's thoughts, all the icicles shot toward the horde of disaster beasts blocking our path from behind. Countless disaster beasts were impaled, falling in rows like harvested leeks. But soon, even more beasts surged forward. All the disaster beasts in the entire city were converging on this spot from all directions. The pressure on me began to mount. There were tens or even hundreds of thousands of disaster beasts in this city. Even if we exhausted all our stamina, we could never kill them all. So I shouted, "To catch a thief, first catch the king!" Hai Ming, go kill the disaster mother beast directly. Hearing my words, Hai Ming immediately turned and charged toward the bridge. There was a dangerous aura on the other side. It's the disaster mother beast. As Hai Ming reached the other side of the bridge, a dark red tentacle, a full 10 meters thick, suddenly emerged from the night air and whipped against its body. Hai Ming was sent crashing through several buildings, only stopping more than 20 meters away. Hai Ming roared, blasting away the dust. It rose from amidst the countless chunks of concrete and rubble. Its cold, vertical pupils stared intently at the disaster mother beast before it. A giant eyeball, over 60 meters in size. Its countless other eyes were all staring at Hai Ming. Hai Ming's dark flames surged violently. It launched its attack directly. Its body shot forward in an instant. Under Hai Ming's full-powered charge, the ruined buildings shook relentlessly. The countless eyes of the giant eyeball constricted in unison. 15 dark red tentacles whipped toward Hai Ming. Seeing the incoming tentacles, Hai Ming dodged when it could. When it couldn't, its claws appeared, and it swiped viciously with a flash of black light. But the impact sounded like metal grinding against metal. Hai Ming was suddenly struck by one of the dark red tentacles and sent flying backward. The distance it had worked so hard to close was widened again. Previously, Hai Ming had always relied on its gigantified form, with its formidable strength and defense, to engage in close-quarters combat and directly overpower its enemies. But now, faced with the giant eyeball's repulsive tentacles, it was completely helpless. With a roar, It unleashed its dark flames without holding anything back. Instantly, scorching heat erupted, spreading in all directions. Ming charged out in a flash. The magic power in its body was being consumed at an extremely fast rate. It had chosen to stake everything on this one desperate fight. On my end, my expression was grim. Through my soul connection with Ming, I could faintly feel its life force, slowly declining. It's done. Suddenly, Su Lingxue opened her eyes, which glowed with an icy blue light. Myriad annihilation. The moisture in the air vanished in an instant. Countless disaster beasts turned to ice crystals in a flash. Shards flew everywhere. Seize this opportunity, I made a snap decision. Let's go to the disaster, Mother Beast. Our only chance now is to help Ming evolve. Soon, the three of us arrived at the city center. A roar came from ahead. Without hesitation, the three of us immediately rushed over. We quickly saw the heavily injured, dying Ming, but its claws were still gripping the ground tightly. No matter how the dark red tentacles struck it, it refused to retreat. It was stubbornly moving forward inch by inch. Seeing this, I ran directly toward Ming. Ming, devour these disaster beasts. At the same time, I immediately cast recovery and reinforcement spells. A faint white light glowed on Ming's body. Ming's vertical pupils narrowed. It let out a ferocious roar. The sound wave blasted away. The dark red tentacles, Ming, immediately charged toward the horde of disaster beasts. Dark flames bloomed like a lotus flower, spreading out instantly. The giant eyeball also realized there was a problem. It immediately issued a command, telling all the disaster beasts to get away from here. But it was too late. Countless streams of dark flames, carrying devouring energy, surged into Ming's body. Without hesitation, I tapped on the panel. Begin evolution. A terrifying black power erupted from deep within Ming's body, bursting outward to form a pillar of dark light that shot into the sky. Ming's body instantly swelled to over 100 meters. Congratulations, your summon, Ming, has acquired the skill, Swiftness. Congratulations, your summon, Ming, has acquired the new talent, Vajra Body. All attributes increased by 60 points. I let out a sigh of relief. Another massive comprehensive upgrade. Ming's vertical pupils stared at the giant eyeball. Its entire body was completely renewed. Its tough wool fur emitted a faint golden glow, giving it a divine and domineering appearance. The giant eyeball's eyes trembled violently. The moment the black power erupted, it was paralyzed by the terrifying aura that craved to devour everything. It was frozen in fear. But this was immediately followed by endless rage. It, too, could devour and evolve. It was the one destined to become the strongest. The thick, dark red tentacles whipped out in unison, making the air itself boom. Ming stood as firm as a rock, unmoving. The 15 dark red tentacles lashed against its body, only causing the golden light to tremble slightly. The dark flames, a fusion of gluttony and gigantification, erupted in an instant. The dark flames formed a ferocious 400-meter-tall beast phantom. Instantly, the 1,000-meter radius was transformed into a sea of black fire. Ming charged violently in front of the giant eyeball. As it raised its claws, the massive beast phantom also raised its own. The claws, condensed from dark flames, swung down in an instant. Several of the giant eyeball's eyes were instantly blinded. It let out a pained shriek. Its tentacles frantically whipped at Ming's body, but they couldn't cause any damage. The giant eyeball roared, absorbing the sinister energy and rapidly fusing it into its body. Instantly, its size swelled by a large margin. Countless sharp barbs began to grow on its dark red tentacles. This was the power it had been saving, to evolve to the next stage of life. Now, it had no choice but to use it early. The dark red tentacles closed in on Ming from all directions. The two sides attacked each other frantically. The ground trembled continuously from their battle. Roars echoed across the sky. Several hours passed. Above the ruins, only Ming still stood tall. The countless eyes of the giant eyeball had gone dark. Its entire body was slowly being consumed by the dark flames. At this, Su Lingxue and I both smiled. We killed the disaster mother beast, and thousands of disaster beasts. The scores we'd get would definitely be extremely high. The next day, following a system prompt, the three of us vanished from the spot. Time is up. Calculating score based on your performance. Total kills, 8,560 disaster beasts. Successfully killed the disaster mother beast. Congratulations, your rating is perfect. As promoted to Summoning Swordmaster. Rare, unique. Description. This is a strange class born because of you. Congratulations on comprehending a new class skill. Magic Sword Condensation. Skill effect. A sharp sword that exists between the real and the ethereal. Ignores any of the target's physical defenses and inflicts mental trauma. I looked at the panel, somewhat surprised. Ignores physical defense and directly damages the target's mind. This means that as long as the opponent has no mental defenses, I can kill them in an instant. This skill is simply terrifying. In my hand, a sharp sword inscribed with countless runes instantly appeared. My mental energy was also completely drained as I condensed the magic sword. I shook my head and put the magic sword away. It seems the skill can only be used as a trump card. I smiled slightly and opened my phone. After accepting the friend requests from Luo Xuan and Su Ling Shui, I immediately saw a message from Lu Wen. Recruitment instructors from the top academies will arrive today at 2 p.m. Get ready to come to the school. I thought for a moment. I had nothing else to do. I immediately got up and left. Fanyan, number 2 middle school. Lu Wen was waiting at the school gate. When he saw me, he immediately came over. You're finally here. This time, a full 5 top-tier academies have all sent recruitment instructors to our school. This is completely unprecedented in Fanyan City. I followed Lu Wen to the office. Lu Wen took out a dragon-shaped ring from a drawer. This is the reward from the city government. It contains the equipment and skill books you need. My eyes lit up. These were all things I needed right now. The palm sword, a common quality piece of equipment, had endured too many high-intensity battles and was already damaged. I took the ring. My consciousness probed inside it. Instantly, 2 pieces of information appeared. 1. Tianquan sword, long sky sword form, gains elite buff, piercing through all defenses. Heavenly general form, gains wisdom aura, continuously restoring mental energy, and amplifying the effect of any skill by 50%. 2. Skill book, within arm's reach. Effect instantly traverse a distance of up to 100 meters. Looking at this equipment and skill book, I was incredibly satisfied. Around 2 p.m., a black private car stopped at the school. A man and a woman stepped out. Li Mingji's expression was solemn. He went forward without the slightest hesitation. To be an instructor at a top-tier academy, one was undoubtedly a 5th-tier professional. Even the city mayor would have to treat them with respect. Arriving at the reception room, Ji Fei, who was sitting with a lazy expression, asked faintly, "Qin Lin, where is he?" Just then, the door was pushed open, and Lu Wen and I walked in. Ji Fei carefully looked me up and down. "Not bad. With looks like these, you should join my Cloud Sparrow Academy." Feng Yi, sitting to the side, was immediately displeased. "It's one thing for rumors to spread outside, but does your Cloud Sparrow Academy really recruit people based on their looks?" Then he turned to me and extended an olive branch. "Student Chen Lin, choose my Azure Sky Academy. You can pick from any of our resources. How about 3 items as an enrollment gift?" 3 items? Are you trying to get rid of a beggar? I think you're questioning the value of our winter provincial champion. That's right. That's right. Student Chen Lin. He's looking down on you. Don't go there and be mistreated. This scene left Li Mingji and Lu Wen completely stunned. The atmosphere became tense for a moment. If anyone dared to start recruiting, they would inevitably be targeted by the other 4. The scene gradually descended into chaos. Ji Fei took a breath. Looking at me, she suddenly said, "You've reached the 1st tier, but you probably haven't started summoning yet, right? As long as you join Cloud Sparrow, I can directly apply to the higher-ups to give you the absolute best materials needed for summoning. That black wolf of yours has a growth talent. Just name whatever resources you need, including my daughter." Hearing these words, the other 4 fell silent. Even from their perspective, they felt these conditions were too generous. This year, there were no less than 10 students with scores higher than 20,000. If they used too many resources to recruit Dong Tian here, it would be difficult to compete for the others later. They decided it wasn't worth it. The 4 of them silently gave up. I just shook my head. Everything else is fine, but I'll pass on the daughter. Ji Fei's brow relaxed. She was overjoyed. "Oh, you like them? A bit more mature? I'm available too, you know." I was about to say that's not what I meant, but the words caught in my throat. In the end, I still chose Cloud Sparrow Academy. Not because of how beautiful Ji Fei was, but mainly because she offered so much. Soon, it was the first day of school. Zhongtian City, the provincial capital of Jiuchong, Cloud Sparrow Academy. Countless top-scoring students from all over the country were gathered here. I first picked a random dorm room and went in. It had all sorts of facilities and daily necessities. At that moment, my device suddenly vibrated. At the same time, a message appeared. Your summoning materials have been approved. Also, if you need any other resources, you can ask. I will do my best to apply for them for you. After sending the message, Jifei leaned back in her soft chair. Beside her, Jiang Wui looked somewhat puzzled. Clearly, our resources are enough to recruit 4 provincial champions. This far exceeds Chen Lin's own value. With all due respect, he is completely unworthy of what we've given him. Jifei just looked at him with a smile and said, The freshman welcoming ceremony is tomorrow. You'll see for yourself then. I laid out the summoning materials on the floor. I stretched out a hand and opened it in the empty air. As I used the summoning spell, the room was filled with white light. After a few minutes, what appeared before my eyes was a 60-centimeter all-silver butterfly, flapping 2 pairs of crimson wings. Not another old, weak, sick, and disabled one, right? The corner of my mouth twitched. I silently checked its panel. Summon, silver butterfly, level 10. Strength, 1, Constitution, 1, Agility, 1, Magic, 1. Its total attributes are only 4 points. It's even weaker than Heiming was at the beginning. Shook my head. This sets a new record for the weakest known summon, but it doesn't matter. I will grant you limitless potential. Watching the silver butterfly slowly fly towards me, I held out my finger to catch it. Detection starting, loyalty, 100%, will never betray. Proceed with lifebound connection. As I confirmed, the excruciating pain of my soul being torn apart came from deep within. Congratulations, your summon has awakened. The OSS rank unique talent, myriad transformations, divine change. It can transform into any form and acquire different abilities. Just then, the silver butterfly turned into fluorescent light and took on my appearance. It spoke in a dazed voice. Master, after some initial understanding, I finally realized the power of myriad transformations, divine change. I opened the box. Inside were various pieces of battle armor. I pointed at the silver butterfly. At the same time, I began to communicate with it through my thoughts. The silver butterfly nodded gently. It transformed into fluorescent light and enveloped my arm. Instantly, silver battle armor appeared, slowly covering my entire body. I didn't feel any discomfort or weight. It was as if this armor was originally a part of my body. I had a satisfied look on my face. Furthermore, myriad transformations divine change has the ability to increase its hardness by fusing with metals. Without a doubt, just like gluttony, it's a ridiculously overpowered talent that can continuously grow stronger. With that in mind, I decided to train the silver butterfly first. I sent a message to Jifei, requesting metal materials with special properties. In just half an hour, the items arrived. A notification came through. They were all rare metal ores with different properties. Each one was considered a precious resource. Returning to my room, I began to have the silver butterfly fuse with them. Soon, the armor covering my body became incredibly hard. Even a second-tier professional would have a hard time breaking it. At the same time, the armor's weight reached 5 tons. It had no effect on me, but if it were to fall on an enemy, it would be like Mount Tai crashing down on them. When I arrived in the living room, my 3 roommates, hearing the noise, looked a little surprised. A man stepped forward and said, "Hello, I'm Feng Ye, second place from Qingyuan province. Achieving the rank of provincial champion with a common class, that's very impressive. Isn't it just because he got lucky and obtained a powerful summon?" The cold-looking man's tone was somewhat disdainful. He was the second ranked from Longzi province, with a college entrance exam score of 23,000. It's just that he happened to be in a province without any top-tier geniuses, allowing him to take first place. In his eyes, it was a classic case of, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Fungi smiled faintly. In my opinion, the fact that a powerful summon responded to his call is enough to show that there's something special about Chen Lin. Just as an argument was about to break out, at that moment, a voice echoed throughout the entire academy. "All new students, bring your weapons and equipment, and gather at Cloud Sparrow Plaza immediately." "It seems the freshman grand competition is starting half a month early," said Ko Yang, who was sitting on the sofa. "Also, the number of mutated beasts outside the city is increasing. The academy plans to have us take on the task of clearing them out." After hearing this, I fell silent. I was suddenly reminded of the world in the rebirth dungeon. I never thought that Blue Star would face the same crisis so soon. As I was lost in thought, the arrogant voice of the cold man suddenly reached my ears. It's good that it's early. Chenlin, I will crush you in this competition and prove that I am more worthy of the #1 champion title than you. Looking at his arrogant demeanor, I smiled. Then let's see who's better, but I'll be the one to crush everyone. Cloud Sparrow. Plaza. The new students gathered one by one. The dean sighed. The top 100 students must be forced to go outside the city to clear out the mutated beasts and grow quickly under the pressure of death. The secretary behind him nodded. Holding a tablet, he announced, the freshman grand competition, originally scheduled for half a month from now, will be held today. You will enter a large-scale dungeon for levels 20-30, the Rift Gorge. This freshman grand competition will determine the allocation of resources you receive in the future. After the announcement, the dungeon gate slowly opened. An aura flowed out, sweeping across the entire plaza. Some people's legs went weak, their lips trembling slightly. Are you kidding me? I haven't even had my first class promotion yet. How are we supposed to fight this? Luo Xuan was anxiously searching for someone in the crowd. Soon, he saw the person he was looking for, Big Brother Lin. I saw the tall Luo Xuan jogging over with a short-haired, gray-eyed girl. He had said before that he would apply to Cloud Sparrow just like me. I thought it was a joke, but I didn't expect him to actually do it. This is my sister, Luo Ning. My expression was a bit strange. Hello. Luo Ning shyly hid behind her brother, her voice barely a whisper. I sighed helplessly and sent them a party invitation, seeing me team up with others and take on an extra burden. The cold man frowned slightly. Before entering the dungeon, he said coldly, try not to lose too badly, Chenlin. I didn't bother to reply. The three of us instantly vanished from the spot. Soon, all the students had entered the dungeon. An instructor waved his hand and cast a water screen projection spell. The Rift Gorge spanned several hundred kilometers, like a vast maze. Just as the three of us entered, a roar immediately sounded from ahead, a perfect chance to test my current strength. With a thought, a silver butterfly appeared in a flash of white light. In just a few steps, my entire body was clad in silver armor. I made a grasping motion with my right hand, and the Tianquan sword instantly appeared. Then I drew the silver battle saber from my back. With a single step on the ground, my figure instantly appeared dozens of meters away in front of the monsters, within arm's reach. A skill that was supposed to be used for survival was being used by me to close the distance. The Tianquan sword swung out instantly. Like cutting through tofu, it sliced smoothly through the bodies of several monsters. Then, without slowing down, I became a blur, slashing my way through in the blink of an eye. The monsters barely had time to react, before they fell with stunned expressions. Seeing this, Luo Xuan shouted excitedly, Brother Lin, you're awesome! He didn't have to do anything, but his experience points were shooting up. This was the joy of latching onto the right person. Outside, the instructors who saw this were completely shocked. That speed and damage, it's almost on par with a hidden melee class. There's something wrong with his base stats. Even if Chenlin had his second-tier class promotion, it's impossible for him to have such melee strength. At this moment, an instructor thought back carefully and said, could it be that silver butterfly? Is it Chenlin's second summon? A summon that can turn into a weapon? That's unheard of. Even the knowledgeable dean was a little surprised. He looked at Ji Fei, who had a smug smile on her face, and shook his head. Right now, a dozen people have more points than Chenlin. You get very few points in a party. If this is all he has, his champion title will be undeserved. He's your future son-in-law. What good does it do you if he loses face? Just as Ji Fei was about to say something, she got a slap on the back of the head. The dean's face was covered in dark lines. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, the silver armor I was wearing was already stained with blood. I could kill all these level 20 monsters in one hit. It seems I've reached the peak of the second tier. Even if I can't win against a third tier, I can still escape unscathed. Just then, countless negative emotions flooded my mind, trying to control me and make me end my own life. Seeing me standing motionless, Luo Xuan hurriedly said, Nang, quickly retract your domain. Knowing full well how strange her talent was, Luo Ning looked flustered and quickly retracted it. I smiled and comforted them. It's okay. This can't affect me at all. I glanced at the recorder. I had only gained 120 points. This pace was clearly a bit slow. To get stronger quickly, I must take first place and get the Academy's resource allocation. Both the Silver Butterfly and Heiming require a large amount of resources. Thinking of this, my will moved. Instantly, a massive, violent demonic wolf appeared in a flash of white light. A terrifying wolf howl echoed through the gorge. This immediately made Luo Ning, who was seeing He Ming for the first time, shrink back in fear. She hid behind me. I gave He Ming an order. Go! He Ming! Devour every single monster in this gorge. Hearing the command, He Ming's eyes turned fierce. It instantly vanished from the spot, charging into the depths of the gorge. Not long after, the recorder on my wrist continuously chimed with the sound of my points increasing. I headed down another path, planning to farm points from both ends. In the distance, a young woman brandished a dark red lightning dragon, which descended upon countless monsters below. The moment it struck, the ground cracked under the heavy blow. Within a 100-meter radius, dark red lightning exploded and raged, annihilating all the monsters. The young woman's face showed a hint of dissatisfaction. These weaklings can't even take a hit. Watching her sister act up again, Luo Lan looked helpless. Suddenly, a heart-pounding aura accompanied by scorching heat approached. Before she could react, she saw a fiery battle intent erupt in Luo Hongying's eyes. Violent, dark red lightning instantly surged, coiling around her black spear. Looking at the charging black rock giant wolf, just meeting its vertical pupils made fear spread through her. However, soon, a crazed look appeared on Luo Hongying's beautiful face. She immediately charged toward the giant wolf. Watching her sister charge forward fearlessly, Luo Lan acted with practiced ease, quickly applying several power-enhancing and protective buffs. Under these enhancements, her combat power instantly doubled. She could even fight a third-tier boss. When the two sides collided, the powerful force instantly created a shockwave that spread in all directions. Seeing the black giant wolf emerge unscathed, a golden light shimmering around it, Luo Hongying's face froze. That attack had the power of a third tier. How could it be? Completely unharmed. He Ming looked down coldly at this human who had attacked it for no reason. Its claws swiped down instantly. Under the terrifying force, 3 protective barriers shattered one after another. Luo Hongying's figure was sent flying backward. Luo Lan's expression changed drastically. She clasped her hands together. A holy phantom, dozens of meters tall, slowly materialized. The Six Saints Guardian Angel has arrived. SSS talent, Angel's Favor. A golden screen of light instantly rose, enveloping the two of them. Luo Lan immediately said, "Sister, retreat," before she could finish. The approaching He Ming had already raised its claws. A black light appeared. It instantly tore the golden screen to shreds. It gave the two of them a cold glance, then walked past them, not paying them any mind. Outside, there was dead silence. All the instructors, including the dean, were speechless. Is this really the kind of strength a summoner, who just got their class a few days ago, should have? Terrifyingly so. This level of power is completely beyond the scope of the second tier. Seeing this logic-defying combat strength, a few words couldn't help but surface in everyone's minds. Unbeatable at the same level. A prodigy of this generation. Looking at the smug-faced Jifei, Jiang Weiwei was utterly shocked. This was a probability that shouldn't even exist, yet she actually managed to gamble on it and win. Could she really be a genius? Over the next 10 hours, He Ming killed over 10,000 monsters. It even took down 3 third-tier bosses. Only 1,300 points left until its next evolution. And this was the result of just half a day. But the further it goes, the harder it is to improve. Luo Xuan and Luo Ning were ecstatic. It was the first time they had experienced such effortless leveling. They barely had to lift a finger. I smiled and glanced at the recorder. My points had already reached 34,000. Not far away, He Ming, having cleared a whole circle, returned to our location. I casually cast a recovery spell on it. Soon, the time limit for the dungeon was up. A white light enveloped us, teleporting us back to Cloud Sparrow Plaza. Countless amazed gazes instantly fell upon us. Many of the surrounding students were covered in dirt, especially the cold-faced man. He punched the ground in humiliation. Even at his full power, he was seriously injured by a casual swat from a giant black wolf. At this moment, the dean's secretary shouted, "I will now announce the point rankings for all students. First place, Chen Lin, 34,500 points. Hearing this, the cold-faced man's eyes widened. He immediately looked at the holographic screen. He saw my score ranked first, leading by a huge margin. Below it was a cliff-like drop. Second place, Feng Ye, with only 13,000 points. This is impossible! The cold-faced man was in disbelief, thinking there must be a problem with the rankings. It wasn't just him. Many others also found it unbelievable. How could everyone else, including the two provincial champions, have such low scores? As if sensing everyone's confusion, the secretary explained, "The giant black wolf you encountered is Chen Lin's summon." Many people tried to stop it, and were seriously injured by a single blow. Hearing this, everyone's gazes were filled with utter shock. On the stage, the dean's secretary announced, "The freshman grand competition is now over. Your academic credit rewards will be transferred to your student accounts. You are dismissed." Returning to the private suite, the cold-faced man looked a bit unnatural when he saw me walk in. After a moment of struggle, he took a deep breath and said, "Something of yours was delivered earlier. They said it's the second batch of material resources. I saw you weren't here, so I moved it to your room." I was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and said, "Okay, thanks." The cold-faced man turned his head away and replied in a low voice, "You're welcome." After returning to my room, I opened the large black box. The amount of rare metals this time was even greater than the first batch. As long as the silver butterfly fuses with enough metal, its hardness will be such that even He Ming can't break it. There's also a chance of acquiring various properties. Then it won't just be for defense. Its combat power will also be incredible. I have no intention of being just a weak summoner. That weakness is too obvious. Once targeted, many methods could easily kill me. A dozen or so minutes later, all the metal had been fused by the silver butterfly. At this point, its hardness was such that even a third tier couldn't penetrate it, and its weight had reached a full 13 tons. With our mutually amplifying strength, a single punch could shatter the ground. Just then, the 50,000 academic credits for winning first place also arrived. After a moment of thought, I spent all my points to buy dozens of fruit-type resources. After the items were delivered, I poured everything out at once. Then I summoned He Ming and fed them to it. Soon, I felt waves of strengthening heat flow through me. My whole body felt incredibly comfortable. He Ming's size was also growing bit by bit. In just a few minutes, it reached 40 meters. And after my promotion to Summoning Swordmaster, I gained an extra 5 points of strength with each level up. I've completely warped what it means to be a summoner. I've gone from a squishy, paper-armored character who needs to hide in the back to an offensive-type class. The next day was the official start of school. All 4 of us from the dorm were assigned to the same class. On the way, we ran into Luo Xuan and Luo Ning, who were also in our class. As soon as we walked into the classroom, many people looked over. It seemed they were still in shock, crushing everyone with just a single summon. This had never happened before. At that moment, 2 extremely beautiful twin girls walked in through the door. After looking around for a moment, Luo Hongying and Luo Lan sat down directly in front of me. At the same time, the tall and slender Jifei walked into the classroom. She scanned everyone and said, "My name is Jifei. I will be your homeroom teacher from now on. Of course, if you have any problems, try not to come to me. I can't be bothered." Then, Jifei's expression turned serious. Her tone was grave. "You are all geniuses from your respective provinces. You worked hard to get into this academy, presumably for better resources. But I regret to inform you, the advantage the foreign races have built up over decades of planning has grown larger and larger. Before long, they will break through our defenses in one fell swoop." Hearing this, everyone's eyes filled with disbelief. Society was currently running in an orderly fashion. There were even many new entertainment industries starting to develop. The media was also proclaiming that the situation had improved. There was no negative news on the internet. Everything was stable and peaceful. And now she was saying that a great disaster was imminent. Seeing their shock and confusion, Jifei slowly said, "Haven't you ever wondered why in society you basically never see any powerhouses above the 5th tier? Even in the military that guards an entire province, the strongest are only at the 4th tier." Hearing this, everyone thought back carefully. It seemed to be true. Logically speaking, for top-tier combatants like 5th-tier professionals, while they might not be everywhere, it shouldn't be so rare to see even one, either online or in real life. Suddenly, a terrifying thought began to form in their minds. The students who graduate from top-tier academies are at least at the 4th tier or higher. Most of them go to the front lines without a second thought. It is precisely because of this that we have peace in the rear. Jifei continued, "News like this, which could cause panic, is naturally banned from being spread by all countries. This has led to many people from common backgrounds being completely unaware of such matters. What's more urgent now is that The scale of mutated beasts is also gradually expanding. If we don't curb it now, the foreign races, upon discovering the situation, will undoubtedly launch their general offensive ahead of schedule. So, Jifei looked at all the students. The time has come for us to step up. All academies are sending out their most promising talents to military bases to carry out the culling of mutated beasts. Now, those who are willing to volunteer to go to the military base and carry out the operation to reduce the number of mutated beasts, stand up. As her voice fell, the sound of chairs being pushed back instantly filled the classroom. Naturally, I didn't hesitate for a second. Seeing this, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning also stood up immediately. Fighting mutated beasts was inevitable sooner or later. It was just happening a bit earlier now. Gradually, only half of the class remained seated. Seeing this, a corner of Jifei's mouth lifted. Having half the people volunteer was already better than expected. Everyone, move out. We're heading to the military base. A heavy-set boy who was sitting down stared with wide eyes. Wait, we have to go too? That's right. Everyone in this class is a new student. In the top 100, you're all considered promising talents of the academy. Naturally, you have to go. The reason I'm only telling you now is because the military plans to select those who volunteered and list them as key personnel to watch. Jifei's face was expressionless. If you really can't muster the courage, there is a second option. Withdraw from Cloud Sparrow Academy. Of the 20 or so people who were still hesitating, half of them immediately stood up. Jifei led the crowd outside of Cloud Sparrow Academy. Dozens of heavy military transport trucks were parked in front of the school gate. Soldiers with solemn expressions were waiting. As all the students boarded the trucks, the once bustling Cloud Sparrow Academy became incredibly empty. Inside the transport truck, Jifei picked up a data file and said, "The place we're going to this time is the Hingduan military base. It's located 900 kilometers away from Zhengtian City. In front of them is the Bailin mountain range. That area covers tens of thousands of square kilometers. According to weather reconnaissance, just in the outer perimeter alone, there are tens of thousands of level 10 to 30 mutated beasts. If you go a little deeper, there are also countless level 40-50 mutated beasts. You just need to focus on clearing the outer perimeter. All this time, the front lines have relied on technology to trade a few, for many, barely managing to resist the offensive. However, for some unknown reason, their recent attacks have become more ferocious. They are raiding the defense lines from all directions, day and night. Therefore, for this mutated beast cleanup, the front lines are completely unable to help. 8 or 9 hours later, the transport trucks came to a stop. As the heavy steel gates opened to the sides, several soldiers in black combat uniforms stood in a line, seemingly waiting for their arrival. The soldiers saluted in unison. This sight moved everyone, and they couldn't help but straighten up from their lazy postures. Jifei walked over and said, "Everyone follow me to the mission briefing point." Along the way, everyone looked around. The entire military base was very spacious. Gun turrets were erected all around the perimeter. The defenses were tight. Before long, they arrived at the mission briefing point. A female soldier was waiting. She distributed black smart wristbands to everyone. These wristbands looked similar to the recorders from the college entrance exam, but they had added mission and map functions. There was also an icon to send a distress signal. With just a click, the military base would be immediately notified of the situation and dispatch personnel for a rescue. At the same time, people nearby would also receive the information immediately and could rush over to help. Welcome to Xiao AI. I'm happy to be of service. For this mutated beast cleanup operation, each student must accept at least one mission per day. You have not yet met your daily quota. Please accept our mission at the briefing point as soon as possible. One mission completed. The smart wristband emitted a notification sound. I strode over to the screen displaying countless missions. After a quick scan, I decided it was better to be safe. It would be best to accept a few ordinary missions that required third-tier strength. Suddenly, I felt a gaze on me. I immediately looked back. I saw Luo Xuan and Luo Ning, who had been following me the whole time, looking at me with pitiful eyes. With their strength going into the wild, would likely be a constant struggle. Let's go together. I smiled. After all, I had to see it through to the end. The two of them nodded repeatedly, gratitude practically overflowing from their eyes. Seeing this, Feng Ye, who was about to invite Luo Ning, stopped in his tracks. He suddenly felt a pang of jealousy. The twins were one thing, but why couldn't he even let Luo Ning go? The wilderness is extremely dangerous. We could run into trouble at any time. How about we stick together and watch each other's backs? Feng Yi turned his head away, feeling dejected. Looking at Li Zhongfeng with an expression of feigned concern, he said, "Get lost and find someone else." Li Zhongfeng looked at him with disgust, picked his mission, and left with a support class girl from his class. "Cao Yang, we're not done talking." Cao Yang cut him off directly. "You're a hidden combat class for crying out loud. Stop being such a coward. Go find some reliable people to team up with. Worst case scenario, just hit the SOS button. If we're nearby, we'll come collect your corpse." Feng Yi suddenly felt a wave of malice surrounding him. It didn't take long for me to pick out 3 missions as well. Clear out the berserk black ape 200 kilometers away, the twin-toothed giant tiger, and the blood spirit giant crocodile. The locations of all the mutated beasts were obtained through a carpet search by micro-drones modified by formation masters and engraved with the eye of observation. Mutated beasts are highly territorial, so they generally don't stray too far from their dens. For this clearing operation, all the military bases had made ample preparations to make it easier and safer for the students to hunt the mutated beasts. Of course, their safety was also taken into account. Everyone heading out for a mission could claim 3 high-explosive grenades and a high-powered handgun loaded with 7 armor-piercing rounds. These were enough to injure mutated beasts around level 20. I had 0 confidence in my marksmanship, so I just took the 3 high-explosive grenades. Besides, the power of my punch right now is way stronger than an armor-piercing round. I turned around and led the 2 of them away. We soon drove into the Balian mountain range. I immediately summoned Silver Butterfly and transformed it into armor. Just then, my smart wristband chimed. "Do you need Shuao Eye to turn on the flashlight?" I immediately said yes. The next second, a bright white light illuminated the surrounding dozen meters. In the command center, everyone wore a solemn expression. Through a nearby micro-drone, they immediately noticed that our route was off. Further ahead is the zone for mutated beasts above level 30. Why aren't they stopping? Look into it. What exactly are the missions they took? A middle-aged man in a major general's uniform said in a deep voice. Hearing this, the woman in charge of the monitors quickly typed away at her console, her tone filled with shock. Kill the level 33 berserk black ape, the level 36 twin-toothed giant tiger, and the level 39 blood spirit giant crocodile. These are all missions that require 3rd turn strength. The last one is even close to 4th turn difficulty. Are they insane? Yang Xiao rubbed his temples. This is Skylark Academy's strongest freshman this year. He's only level 16. How dare he take on missions that are 2 whole turns above his own strength? This is practically suicide. But for geniuses like him, who step up immediately even knowing the danger, they would almost never betray humanity. Even if he's a bit too headstrong, we can't just leave him be. He immediately gave the order to have 4 armed helicopters move into the vicinity. The moment they're in danger, initiate rescue operations immediately. Yang Xiao let out a long sigh. Compared to the other bases, their Hengduan base was probably going to drag the overall progress down. Suddenly, the smart wristband issued a warning. Please note, you have entered the habitat of the target, the berserk black ape. The very second the voice faded, a giant snake suddenly burst through the bushes. Its massive body was a full 4 meters thick, and its length reached dozens of meters. It bared its sharp fangs and lunged at me viciously. Its terrifying, bloodthirsty maw looked like it could swallow me whole. I spun around in an instant, grabbed the giant snake's fangs with both hands, and exerted a burst of strength. Boosted by my astonishing strength and 13-ton weight, the giant snake's fangs snapped instantly. Blood sprayed everywhere, making it recoil its head in agony. I didn't give it a single moment to breathe. The ground beneath my feet caved in, as my figure dashed right in front of the giant snake. With a single punch, its spine was shattered and snapped. The giant snake let out a miserable hiss, its cold eyes showing fear, as it immediately tried to flee. I grabbed it backhandedly and slowly dragged it back. The giant snake thrashed wildly in terror, making the ground tremble continuously. But it was completely useless. My fist smashed directly into its head. The giant snake's flesh exploded and its skull completely caved in and shattered. I grabbed the giant snake's lower jaw with both hands and forcefully tore it in half. This brutal scene left Luo Xuan and Luo Ning trembling in fear. Meanwhile, the command center, which had watched the whole process clearly, fell dead silent. Everyone's eyes were wide with shock. This is way too insane. He's only level 16 himself, right? And he actually went head-to-head with a level 29 giant fierce python? What kind of monster is he? Yang Xiao silently looked down, repeatedly checking the file in his hands. It clearly says here that his class is Summoner. That's right. Suddenly, a roar echoed through the room from the monitors. Everyone's expressions instantly turned grave. They saw a massive, 50-meter-tall ape leopard with bulging muscles leap down from halfway up the mountain. It seemed to have been awakened by the commotion of the battle and was charging over in a rage. The female officer's face paled in alarm. This is bad. It's the berserk black ape. How did it reach level 34? Mutated beasts undergo a metamorphosis every 10 levels. Could he still smash it to death in a few punches like the giant python? Yang Xiao shook his head, equally pessimistic. In the entire human race, there were very few who could bridge such a massive gap in combat power. His hand was already gripping the walkie-talkie. The moment things went south, he would immediately order the 4 armed helicopters to provide support. I didn't even have time to collect my loot before a massive, bloodthirsty, and ferocious black shadow lunged down from above. The black ape clasped its hands into a giant fist and smashed it down with a boom. I wasn't afraid in the slightest. I drew the combat blade from my back and slashed upwards, striking right against the incredibly tough skin of its giant fist. A shockwave rippled outwards, but I was completely unharmed. All the damage was blocked by Silver Butterfly. The black ape roared again, its body suddenly expanding several times over, rapidly reaching a height of 70 meters. Then, like swatting a fly, it slammed its palm down. But I instantly appeared above the black ape's head and swung my blade down fiercely. The close-at-hand skill activated. This skill, originally meant for saving my life, was now being used as a gap closer. The terrifying slash, like a flash of fluorescent light, instantly struck the back of the black ape's head, but it only left a wound half a meter deep. Stung by the pain, the black ape immediately spun its massive body around, swatting wildly with both hands. However, I dodged every single strike. At that moment, I got right in front of it and slashed my blade at the exact same spot several times. The black ape immediately raised its foot and stomped down hard. Instantly, the earth shook and the mountains trembled, kicking up a massive cloud of dust in all directions. But I had already appeared a dozen meters away. It seemed that my 13-ton weight and wind power were still not enough to inflict heavy damage on the black ape. This was the limit of my current physical capabilities. Thinking of this, I didn't delay any further. In an instant, a sharp sword, hovering between illusion and reality, appeared in my hand. The blade was engraved with countless incomprehensible white patterns, mysterious and profound. Feeling my mental energy instantly drained to nothing, my head couldn't help but feel heavy. For your first appearance on stage, let me see what you can do. I then slowly raised my hand. Instantly, the black ape's hair stood on end. It felt a shudder run through its brain, as if threatened by something invisible. "It's this ant's doing!" The black ape immediately lunged forward, wanting to end the battle quickly. However, my hand had already swung down. The Dharma sword instantly slashed through the black ape's body. Without the slightest warning, its massive body crashed to the ground. A fierce wind instantly blew away the scattered dust. Its physical body was still alive, but its spirit had already shattered and died. I had instantly one-shot it. I retracted the sword. To be fair, the berserk black ape's aura was incredibly fierce, and the presence it emitted kept any nearby mutated beasts from approaching. Plus, the battle ended very quickly. Seeing this, the armed helicopters providing air support in the distance slowly turned around and flew away. The entire command center was dead silent. Everyone was staring blankly at the screens, not even understanding what had just happened. Yang Xiao pondered for a moment and immediately realized that must be a mental trauma type skill. Such skills were extremely rare, but what truly shocked him was my own terrifying combat power. To actually bridge an 18-level gap and go head-to-head with the berserk black ape without a scratch. The key was that this wasn't some burst technique, but seemed to be his base combat power. That was the most terrifying part. Those monsters who could directly cross a whole turn to defeat their enemies invariably relied on burst skills or ultimate moves, not a constant state. While both could bridge a massive gap in combat power, the difference between the two was astronomical. If he could maintain this base state constantly and fight across a 2-turn gap, once he reached the front lines, he would absolutely become a nightmare for the alien races. Thinking of this, Yang Xiao felt his heart race, filled with immense joy. Yang Xiao strode out of the command center and went to an inconspicuous little room. He closed the door and activated multiple layers of concealment formations. Then, he carefully took out a communicator. Brother Zhang, at Hengduan military base, we've discovered an absolute monster. He's too fierce. I'm heavily injured right now, so I'm afraid I won't be able to protect him. After waiting for about half an hour, a sound came from the other end. Explain clearly. Exactly how strong is he? Yang Xiao thought for a moment. At the same level, even if we teamed up, he'd still smash our heads into the ground. The other side fell silent for a moment. That's incredible. I reckon the entire human race won't be able to protect him. Just wait for him to be assassinated by the alien races. Yang Xiao felt a bit helpless. He could crush me with one hand, but against you, Brother Zhang. It's hard to say. Hearing this, the other side immediately replied, "All right, I'll go discuss this with the other thrones right away." Meanwhile, Luo Xuan looked at the black ape's massive corpse, shouting excitedly, "We don't even need." Hey Yiming, he can fight a level 34 mutated beast all on his own. Brother Lin is just too strong. I smiled without saying a word. Then, with a slight shift of my will, I summoned the 40-meter-tall He Ming and had him devour the corpses of the two mutated beasts. Very quickly, his evolution value increased by 0.2 points. It was still a long way from the required 1,200 plus. After thinking for a moment, I took the life crystals in my hand, along with the few I had dug out from the mutated beasts I killed earlier, and threw them all into the pitch-black flames. On average, each life crystal provided at least 1 point. My eyes lit up. In that case, there was finally a way to rapidly increase the evolution value. Afterward, I led the two of them deeper into the mountains. Half an hour later, a giant tiger, over 30 meters in size, with long, sharp fangs, charged out. However, before it could even launch its attack, He Ming glared at it with his slit pupils. Under his intimidation, it froze completely. Immediately after, the ground shattered. As He Ming instantly appeared in front of the giant tiger, he thrust out a powerful paw. Under the terrifying force of that strike, the giant tiger was swatted away. Carried by the immense momentum, the giant tiger crashed through several towering trees in a row. 4 gruesome wounds appeared on its face, pouring out copious amounts of blood. Before it could even recover from the agonizing pain, He Ming was already standing in front of it again. Run! That thought instantly filled its brain. But in terms of speed, it was absolutely no match for He Ming. In just a short dozen seconds, the giant tiger was completely engulfed by the pitch-black flames. This ferocious scene left even the command center feeling a bit terrified. Those slit pupils, even through the screen, sent chills down their spines, making them feel as if they would die in the next moment. Yang Xiao smiled bitterly, feeling a sense of melancholy that the new generation was already surpassing the old. The 3 people and 1 beast traveled through the mountain range. An hour later, this area was entirely the territory of mutated beasts above level 30. But with He Ming's intimidation, not a single mutated beast dared to approach. Just then, a giant crocodile, covered entirely in blood-red scales, and measuring over 100 meters in length, suddenly opened its blood-red slit pupils. A terrifying, brutal aura erupted from it, issuing a warning to the intruders in its territory. He Ming instantly bared his fangs and a terrifying, tyrannical aura exploded from his body. The pressure swirling around him was even more horrifying than the giant crocodiles. The next second, his size rapidly expanded, reaching a length of nearly 300 meters. Feeling invisibly suppressed, the giant crocodile charged forward in a rage. Every step it took made the ground tremble. Pitch-black flames erupted all over He Ming's body. He extended his sharp claws, and a black light surfaced on them. At the same time, a halo of golden light slowly rose over his skin and fur, exuding an unshakable presence. The giant crocodile opened its massive maw, revealing rows of incredibly sharp teeth. However, when it bit down on the golden light, it couldn't close its jaws no matter how hard it tried. He Ming's slit pupils just stared at it coldly. He raised his paw and brought his sharp claws down viciously. Instantly, countless blood-red scales were torn apart, leaving its flesh a mangled mess. At the same time, the giant crocodile let out a ferocious roar and whipped its thick, long tail. Blood-red light swirled around it, carrying a terrifying momentum. As it lashed at He Ming with a fierce gale, 4 long, deep trenches were plowed into the ground. As He Ming barely managed to stop himself with all his strength, The giant crocodile followed up immediately, pushing off fiercely with its front limbs. It bit down on Haiming and dragged him along as it plunged into the lake behind them. Instantly, monstrous splashes of water shot into the air. At the bottom of the lake, the two giant beasts fought madly, churning the water into a murky mess. The pitch-black flames covering Haiming didn't diminish in the slightest. Instead, the temperature of the surrounding lake water kept rising. Even with the environmental advantage, the giant crocodile was still completely suppressed. Even using its strength talent and swirling its blood-red light madly, it still couldn't inflict a single bit of damage. In just a few minutes, the water level of the massive lake had dropped by nearly half. Suddenly, the surface of the water exploded and a giant black wolf burst out of the lake. Its massive size of nearly 300 meters radiated an overwhelming sense of oppression. Coupled with the ferocious aura swirling around it, it made people tremble uncontrollably. Even though Haiming wouldn't attack them, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning still couldn't suppress their inner fear. The same went for the command center watching through the screens. As for the giant crocodile, it had been devoured without a single trace left. At that moment, Xiao AI on my wristband spoke up. All missions have been completed. You may return to the military base's reception point to submit them. By the time the three of us returned to Hengduan base, it was already 1 a.m. I walked straight into the reception point, found a female soldier, and turned in the missions. The female soldier asked in disbelief, "Did you guys really complete them?" I nodded and pulled up Xiao Ai's video recordings as proof. After a good while, the female soldier finally snapped out of it. That's a total of 200 contribution points. Since you operated as a team, how do you plan to distribute them? Following the ratio the female soldier suggested, I transferred the points to the two of them. I glanced at Luo Xuan and Luo Ning. Right now, them following me was not only useless, but it also prevented them from properly tempering themselves. It seemed it was time to find them more suitable teammates. Not long after I left, a line of text prominently appeared on the large screen at the reception point. Skylark Academy Freshman, Level 16 Summoner. Contribution points, 100. Ranking, 1 to 45. It wasn't just at Hengduan base. Other bases where numerous academies were gathered also displayed this line of large text at the same time. At this moment, many students hanging around the reception points looked surprised. Who is this guy? Getting 100 contribution points right off the bat? He must have completed at least 2 third-turn missions in one go. I'm a freshman too, and my contribution points are only in the single digits. Tell me about it. I only dare to take first-turn missions. These mutated beasts are way too fierce. Even with a level advantage, I still get suppressed and beaten up. Right now, most sophomores and juniors only have a few dozen contribution points. Freshmen with double-digit points are even rarer. The reason everyone was so shocked was because he was only level 16. Just a freshman, yet he had crossed a 2-turn gap and successfully killed 2 mutated beasts above level 30. Inside Luosheng base, Feng Yi was currently discussing how to kill the level 60 giant beast on the outskirts. Suddenly seeing the name pop up on the leaderboard, he froze slightly. How is that possible? Hearing Feng Yi's exclamation, several instructors followed his gaze. Old Feng, do you know this student? A freshman getting over 100 contribution points on the first day? That's a bit exaggerated, isn't it? Feng Yi nodded and said, the recruitment regret I mentioned to you guys before, that's him. At the time, Jifei offered him way too much. Otherwise, he might have been a student of our Belong Academy. Hearing this, the instructors suddenly understood. So it's the winter champion. But soon, someone shook their head and said, he must have teamed up with a powerful senior student who carried him. Otherwise, on his own, there's no way he could earn over 100 contribution points in one go. True, but such behavior is unacceptable. This clearing operation, aside from preventing mutated beast stampedes, is also meant to temper the students themselves. Yeah, times are urgent. They should be focusing on improving their strength. Deliberately padding their ranking is useless. The instructors shook their heads repeatedly. Feng Yi also let out a long sigh. He had originally thought highly of me, but now he was somewhat disappointed. At that moment, he looked at the young man in black not far away and smiled. Yunshu, finished your missions? Hearing his voice, Xiao Yunshu walked over. Yes, Instructor Fang, I killed 2 level 27 mutated beasts. I could have come back much earlier, but I ran into a level 33 heavy armored lizard on the way. took a lot of effort to kill it. Xiao Yangchu's voice was flat, as if this were a trivial matter. Feng Yi's mouth twitched, genuinely amazed. Impressive, slaying a level 33 mutated beast at level 17. Your batch of geniuses is truly endless. The corners of Xiao Yangchu's mouth curled up slightly, his face filled with absolute confidence. Don't worry, instructor. In this prodigy tournament, I am invincible. I will crush all my opponents and ascend to the throne of the human race. Xiao Yunchu sneaked a glance and noticed that all the instructors were covering their faces, speechless. Suddenly, he saw the name on the large screen. His face instantly froze, a million voices in his head screaming in disbelief. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How can someone be even fiercer than me? 100 contribution points. Even if I count the heavy armored lizard I killed, I still can't match that. Seeing Xiao Yungshu questioning his life choices, Feng Yi felt a bit helpless and spoke up. We just discussed this. This is likely the result of a senior student carrying him. Don't worry about it, Xiao Yungshu instantly breathed, a sigh of relief. However, his joy at completing a second-turn mission was completely gone. He hurriedly bid farewell to Feng Yi, and then, resolutely, walked towards the mountain range already shrouded in darkness. Meanwhile, I returned to my dorm, had some barbecue with my roommates, and entrusted Luo Xuan and Luo Ning to their team. The next day at 9 a.m., I went to the reception point and selected 2 hard-level missions that required 4th-turn strength. Right after I entered the mountain range, an officer immediately shouted to young Xiao. He took on hard-level missions requiring 4th-turn strength this time. Hearing this, Yang Xiao took a sharp breath of cold air. Crossing a 2-turn gap isn't enough for him? This kid wants to cross a 3-turn gap? 4th turn corresponds to mutated beasts above level 40. That's a major dividing line. Even if the armed helicopters empty all their ammo, they wouldn't even scratch the skin of a level 40 mutated beast. Notify the instructors from Skylark Academy. Have one of them go. And follow him. I'm worried Chen Lin might get into trouble. Yes, sir, the female officer immediately got to work. Very quickly, this message was sent via smart wristband to the 3 Skylark instructors stationed at Hingduan base. After receiving it, they immediately discussed it, and ultimately decided to send Jiang Wuyue. As long as Chen Lin pressed the SOS button, he would receive support immediately. Meanwhile, amidst countless giant trees and vines, a giant black wolf dashed through rapidly. In about an hour, we reached the mission target's location. At this moment, the massive level 44 3-headed snake was hissing a warning. I silently reached out my hand, and a transparent, mysterious, meter-long, sharp sword materialized. As I slowly raised my hand and swung it down, the 3-headed snake's eyes instantly contracted, sensing the aura of death in the unseen. The next second, the left snake head suddenly let out a shrill scream, and then slumped lifelessly onto the rocks. Seeing this, the other 2 snakeheads quickly nudged it a few times. Upon realizing it was completely lifeless, they were instantly filled with terror. I then ordered Heiming to go up and bite it. Receiving the command, Heiming instantly roared, his size suddenly exploding to nearly 300 meters. Pitch-black flames rose all over his body. Feeling the terrifying, ferocious aura, the 3-headed snake suddenly opened its massive mouths and spewed out highly toxic purple venom. Heiming tanked it head-on, bared his fangs, and bit directly into the middle snakehead, dragging it down to the ground. After a bout of rolling around, the other snakehead, seeing its companion being madly torn apart, roared, opened its fangs, and bit down viciously. The golden light penetrated deep into Heiming's flesh, and instantly, the toxins flowed with his blood into his internal organs. His constitution states, boosted by the green light, allowed Heiming to withstand the highly toxic corrosion. Black light surfaced on his sharp claws as he directly swatted away the head that had bitten him. Right at that moment, I drew the heavenly sword. My figure instantly vanished, suddenly appearing right in front of the 3-headed snake's eyes. The heavenly sword plunged viciously into its eye. In agonizing pain, the snakehead let out a tragic roar. At the same time, a sharp claw wreathed in pitch-black flames swung over instantly, smashing it brutally into the ground. But its massive, 30-meter-thick tail coiled up and whipped over with a howling gale. I immediately raised my blade to block, but my figure was smashed into the ground like a missile. Seeing this, Heiming instantly flew into a rage. His sharp claws, coated in black light, exploded through the air and tore down fiercely. Its tough skin was now as fragile as paper, torn open with gruesome wounds several meters deep. Then, Heiming instantly turned his head, clamped his jaws tightly onto the neck of the other snakehead and tore at it madly, as if trying to rip it off completely. The two giant beasts, both over 100 meters long, grappled together. Countless clods of dirt exploded and giant trees collapsed. I stood up from the dust, completely unharmed. Silver Butterfly's defense was as reliable as ever. Watching the two giant beasts fight increasingly madly, I sat down on a rock to the side. All that was left was to wait for He Ming to slowly wear it down. At this moment, not far away, a tall woman wearing white armor was approaching silently, but she saw me quickly grab my combat blade. Silver light flashed, as I instantly slashed out, but I quickly revealed a look of surprise. Jiang Wuyue nodded, somewhat astonished. Feeling the weight transmitted from the combat blade, even a level 59 professional like her had to exert a little effort to block it. "Instructor, why are you here?" Facing my question, Jiang Wuyue calmly withdrew her slightly trembling fingers and said flatly, "Just passing by. I heard a lot of commotion over here, so I came to take a look." Right at that moment, the 30-meter-long snakehead suddenly smashed down from the sky. With a boom, dust billowed across the ground. A ferocious roar spread for thousands of meters. He Ming stood tall upon the corpse of the three-headed snake. The pitch-black flames devoured it greedily, converting it into energy and evolution value. His size, exceeding 300 meters, made him look like a true apocalyptic behemoth. Jiang Wuyue watched in awe. Even from this distance, that tyrannical aura, which felt like it wanted to devour all life, made her scalp tingle. On the other side, the command center instantly erupted. Crossing a 3-turn gap, a full 28-level difference, he actually did it. My god, how can his combat power be this exaggerated? I feel like he's even stronger than that monster who awakened in SSS, rank talent. Even Yang Xiao was a bit excited. Countless pitch-black fire snakes drifted through the air and merged into He Ming's body. His size rapidly shrank as he came to my side and lay down to rest. Afterward, Jiang Wuyue expressed her concern and then left, after opening the map to confirm the route. I mounted He Ming and continued on our way. Having devoured the three-headed snake and its life crystal, He Ming's size directly grew by a meter, and his evolution value increased by 10 points. At this rate, perhaps in just 4 or 5 days, He Ming would be able to evolve again. With this evolution, He Ming's life level would touch the realm of high-level summons, and his talents would be fully upgraded to the extreme tier. By then, his combat power would undoubtedly become even more terrifying. At that moment, a massive commotion suddenly erupted in the distance. Accompanied by roars and bellows, a savage bull came charging over. The savage bull was covered entirely in thick, hard, dark yellow scales, and its 2 horns were over 30 meters long. The ground completely cracked beneath its giant hooves. The second mission target, level 45, Ragehorned Savage Bull. Seeing this, I didn't hesitate, and immediately cast an enhancement spell. He Ming let out a roar, his size rapidly expanding. Pitch-black flames exploded outward, while golden light surfaced simultaneously. In just an instant, his combat power was fully unleashed. Right at that moment, the Rage-horned Savage Bull's sharp horns crashed viciously into He Ming. He raised his front limbs, blocking with both paws. Under the terrifying impact, He Ming was instantly pushed back madly, leaving long, deep trenches behind him. In the blink of an eye, the two giant beasts had charged out for thousands of meters. The drones in the air hurriedly sped up to follow them. At this time, in the command center, Yang Xiao immediately gave the order. "Tell the students along their path to get away quickly," Chenlin's summon. "Won't hold back for their sake once it starts fighting." Hearing this, the female officer immediately got to work. He Ming extended his claws, coated them in blacklight, and exerted a sudden burst of strength, flipping the rage-horned savage bull over. Its massive body crashed to the ground, kicking up billowing clouds of dust. At this time, a team of 2 guys and 3 girls ran for their lives. After running several hundred meters away, they looked back at the scene, somewhat shocked. "So this is why the command center told us to leave. Good thing we left quickly. Otherwise, if we got caught in the crossfire, we'd be dead. Wait, one is level 45. But why is the other one only level 16? Holy crap, you're telling me that's level 16? The 5 of them stared in disbelief. A female instructor stationed nearby noticed the commotion and immediately prepared to rush over and handle it. However, Jiang Wuyue appeared silently and blocked her path. "Leave it be. That's the summon of a Skylark freshman." Hearing this, the female instructor froze. Her eyes instantly filled with absolute shock. "A freshman? Are you kidding me?" Seeing her reaction, the corners of Jiang Wuyue's mouth curled up, imperceptibly, as she said flatly, "He is indeed outstanding in this batch." The female instructor looked dumbfounded. "How is this just outstanding? This is an absolute monster, a freshman with fourth turn. Combat power? I've never even heard of such a thing. Is this the true caliber of Great Xia's top academies?" The female instructor's gaze was complex. "Is he your student?" Jiang Wuyue's expression stiffened. She coughed dryly and said, "Sort of. She and Ji Fei were childhood friends, so his student was basically her student. That made perfect sense." Hearing this, the female instructor's eyes instantly filled with a bit of envy. Half an hour later, He Ming finally devoured the rage-horned savage bull. His ferocious gaze swept the surroundings, and upon not finding his master, he immediately turned around and headed back. It didn't take long for him to find me, currently being chased and beaten by a 50-meter-tall toad. He instantly flew into an absolute rage. His figure dashed over in the blink of an eye, and with a terrifying slap, he directly one-shot this level 36 mutated beast. Seeing this, I breathed a sigh of relief and cast a recovery spell. After resting for half an hour, the one person and one beast set off again, searching for mutated beasts above level 40. With the 2 hunting missions completed, I didn't choose to return to the reception point to turn them in. Going back and forth would take too much time. A few contribution points. If I earn less, so be it. The top priority right now was to get He Ming to evolve as quickly as possible, and then level myself up to 20. To enter the reincarnation dungeon. Ever since I learned that the human race's situation wasn't looking good, I've had an inexplicable sense of urgency. Late at night, roars echoed through the mountain range. He Ming's entire body was wreathed in a terrifying aura. Beneath his feet were 2 level 42 mutated beasts. The pitch-black flames were devouring their corpses, continuously converting them and merging them into He Ming's body. I was panting heavily, my mental energy overdrawn to its absolute limit. I couldn't even maintain the recovery spell anymore. My mind felt incredibly weak, and my physical stamina was near exhaustion. My whole body was numb and aching. Just now, I had forcefully used my physical body to block another mutated beast for He Ming for a few minutes, and almost got myself killed. But the harvest was worth it. Over the course of the whole day, we had killed 15 mutated beasts above level 40. He Ming's base size had grown to 58 meters, and all his stats had increased by a full 58 points, collectively breaking the 300 mark. If we were to face the rage-horned savage bull again right now, it would only take about 10 minutes to finish it off. And as for these 2 level 42 mutated beasts next to us, it was an absolute curb stomp. His evolution value had also increased by 195 points, leaving only 1,020 points until completion. Seeing me return to Hengduan base, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The female officer gulped, and couldn't help but exclaim, "This is too terrifying, killing 15 mutated beasts above level 40 in a single day. If this were converted into contribution points, it would be over 2,000, right?" Hearing this, everyone wore expressions of deep admiration. Right now, at our Hengduan base, the student with the highest contribution points only has 700, right? That's right, and it's Qing Kong, a senior from Skylark Academy, the winter champion from 3 years ago. "What about the other bases?" Yang Xiao asked. The female officer's fingers flew across her console, and she quickly replied, "At Luoxiang base, where Beilong and several other academies are located, the highest student contribution points are at 1,000. Next is Yuntian Academy in the south with 890, and Qingtian Academy in the west with 850. This mutated beast-clearing operation involved hundreds of academies in total, distributed across over a dozen military bases. They started with the mountain ranges that covered the largest areas and had the most massive populations of mutated beasts. Starting from the large mountain ranges, they would then systematically sweep the surrounding areas. The operation would last for several months or even longer until the mutated beast populations were reduced to a level where they could no longer threaten the cities. How did the gap get so wide? Seeing that not only was there a huge difference between the top students, but also in the overall clearing progress, Luoxiang base was far ahead. Yang Xiao frowned. The female officer said, "Beilong Academy ranks first in the annual evaluations every year, so naturally the vast majority of people prefer to enroll there. Plus, this year is the Prodigy Tournament, with geniuses emerging in droves. You can imagine how terrifying their competition is." Everyone is giving it their all, unwilling to fall behind anyone else. But this is a good thing. The faster they clear their areas, the sooner they can spare the manpower to help other bases that are lagging behind. Aside from our 5 bases, which are overseen by top academies, the situation at the other 13 bases is not very optimistic. The number of mutated beasts above level 20 hasn't really decreased at all. Yang Xiao nodded. So we need to hurry up too, and try our best to support the other bases. By the time I arrived at the reception point, it was already 2:30 a.m. The streets were still brightly lit. Many students were using the mutated beast they had dragged back with armored vehicles to host open-air barbecues. After turning in my missions, my ranking instantly skyrocketed like a rocket, jumping from 1,245th to 10th. I didn't really care. I turned around and headed back to my dorm. Just as I opened the door, Fengya immediately rushed over, looking at me like I was a monster. Tell me the truth, Chen Lin, are you actually an alien wearing human skin? This gap in combat power is just too exaggerated. I smiled without saying a word and sat down on a chair. The Joint Academy Forum is completely blowing up right now. Fengya sat down next to me. Everyone is so shocked that they mistakenly think a senior student is carrying you, and they're harshly condemning this behavior. If you completing third-turn missions earlier and getting 100 contribution points right away still had a little bit of believability, then right now almost everyone is questioning it, feeling that it's way too fake. Haha, Senior Ching Kong is having a miserable time right now. He's the biggest suspect, and a lot of people are pointing fingers at him. I asked curiously, why? At the same time, a friend request popped up on my smart wristband. It was exactly the senior student, King Kong, who was being misunderstood as the one carrying me for points. I immediately clicked accept. The moment I accepted, Ching Kong sent only one sentence. Tomorrow, a level 52 flame breath giant dragon. Are you interested? Looking at the message Ching Kong sent, I replied, I only need the life crystal and the giant flame. Dragon's corpse, you guys can take the contribution points. After agreeing on a meeting place and time, the next day, I walked outside the base gates. Ching Kong immediately waved me over. A girl with a graceful figure standing next to him had her eyes light up. As she spoke, hello, my name is Ye Kexi. The other guy is Wang Yao. I nodded. Then, the 4 of us got into an armored vehicle and headed deep into the mountain range. On the way, Ching Kong explained, the giant rock dragon is said to have a trace of king-tier bloodline. Its talents are unknown, so we need to be extra careful when dealing with it. When the time comes, Wang Yao and I will be the main attackers, and Kexi will provide buffs and healing from a distance. Junior Chen Lin, how is your summon's combat power? I said flatly. Tanking the giant rock dragon head-on won't be a problem. Hearing this, the 3 of them instantly had their eyes light up, secretly thinking they hadn't found the wrong person. Originally, if my combat power barely reached the level of a level 40 mutated beast, I would be completely useless in this battle. Now, seeing me so confident, they felt a lot more reassured. After the armored vehicle traveled 200 kilometers, everyone got out. Ching Kong stopped in his tracks and turned his head, saying, this is the giant rock dragon's lair. I'll go lure it over. Everyone get ready to defend. Hearing this, I spoke up flatly, no need. Then, with a slight shift of my will, a 58-meter-tall giant black wolf descended. A tyrannical aura instantly swept out. A ferocious roar echoed for thousands of meters, scaring countless mutated beasts into fleeing in panic. Seeing this, the 3 of them were somewhat astonished. Accompanied by the roar, from within the rocky cave, a pair of yellow slit pupils, as large as lanterns, suddenly opened. In an instant, a terrifying aura exploded outward. Amidst a domineering roar that pierced the sky, the giant rock dragon walked out. Every step it took made the ground tremble endlessly. Looking at its massive body of over 500 meters, covered entirely in scales like solid rock, the aura swirling around it made one's heart palpitate. Ching Kong and the other 2 wore grave expressions, feeling that they had still underestimated it. However, my face remained calm. I communicated with He Ming through my will. He Ming instantly exploded in size, becoming a giant beast nearly 500 meters tall. Pitch black flames erupted, and golden light surfaced. His aura instantly became even more terrifying. This scene left the 3 of them deeply shocked. Ahead, the giant rock dragon's slit pupils revealed a look of disdain. It could sense that the life level of the beast before it was not as high as its own. Only those pitch-black flames made it feel a slight hint of threat. At that moment, Hei Ming suddenly revealed a hint of provocation. The giant rock dragon instantly flew into a rage. It stomped its front limbs fiercely, shattering the ground. Dozens of sharp stone pillars, each tens of meters thick, shot towards Hei Ming. Hei Ming didn't dodge or evade. Standing tall in front of the four of us, he blocked them directly with his Vajra body. Black light surfaced on his sharp claws as he instantly smashed the stone pillars to pieces. By this time, the giant rock dragon had already roared and charged over. Its massive 100-meter-thick palm crushed the air as it swatted down viciously. Hei Ming quickly dodged to the side and then swung a paw back, but only managed to scrape off a layer of skin from its rock-like scales. Subsequently, the giant rock dragon spun around and swatted a palm at Hei Ming. This time, it was imbued with the power of its talent. Yellow light flashed brilliantly, instantly causing its weight to increase terrifyingly. It smashed down like Mount Tai, the force so immense that it made the air explode. The golden light protecting Hei Ming didn't last long before it shattered completely. His figure was knocked back dozens of meters before he barely managed to stop. Seeing the battle erupt in an instant, Qing Kong immediately backed up. Kexi immediately cast group buffs and gave all the single target buffs to Chen Lin's summon. She was very decisive, understanding that the giant rock dragon was much stronger than they had imagined. This level 50 beast, a mutated beast with a king tier bloodline, it's simply not something they can kill by crossing major ranks. Even fighting at the same level would be extremely difficult. But at the same time, he was also shocked. A level 16 summon could withstand a level 52 mutated beast. A full 36 level power gap in between. That's terrifying. Yakexin immediately nodded. A brilliant golden light shone from her body. 4 pentagram patterns appeared under the feet of the 3 of them and Hei Ming. A continuous stream of power flowed in. Then, one by one, halos were all applied to Hei Ming. Hei Ming's 4 basic stats instantly surged. Seeing this, Ye Kexi was filled with astonishment. If these buffs were cast on King Kong, they would at least double his power. But the enhancement on this summon was much weaker. It's truly fearsome. Ye Kexi didn't stop. With a slight thought, she used her talent's power. Aegis of the goddess of divine punishment. After a short chant, a goddess holding a sharp sword with both hands, looking down on the world, slowly appeared above the giant black wolf. Her closed eyes opened. Instantly, a terrifying pressure, as if capable of annihilating all things, erupted. At this moment, I also silently cast the enhancement spell. With numerous buffs stacked, Hei Ming's stats directly reached 2,000. The rise in magic power made the pitch-black flames even hotter. Even from 100 meters away, Qing Kong and the other 2 could feel the terrifying heat. Such a change made the giant rock dragon lizard extremely solemn. It suddenly looked at Qing Kong's group of 3. Its vertical pupils flared with rage. Qing Kong's expression tensed. He drew his battle sword and directly activated his talent, Ultimate Transcendence. The ground beneath his feet exploded. His figure appeared above the giant rock dragon lizard's head as if teleporting. In the blink of an eye, he swung his sword more than 10 times, but it was like striking hard rock. He couldn't break through its defense at all. For the giant rock dragon lizard, it wasn't even enough to be an itch. Qing Kong didn't dare to press for more damage. He immediately retreated. However, just as he leaped off the giant rock dragon lizard's head, the giant rock dragon lizard suddenly roared at the sky. The next second, a yellow stream of air exploded, spreading 100 meters around it, forming a domain that exerted an extremely heavy gravitational pressure. On King Kong, his figure was slammed directly from the air to the ground. As he struggled to his feet, a giant palm, casting a large shadow, stomped down. Yakexi's expression changed drastically. She immediately used all her defensive abilities, but the barrier she raised was as fragile as paper. It shattered without lasting even a second. Despair rose in King Kong's heart. He tried to rush out, ignoring his tearing flesh. Just as the giant palm was about to crush him, a black shadow charged in instantly. The terrifying impact directly knocked the giant rock dragon lizard over. The resulting gale was like a giant mountain collapsing. Looking at the giant black wolf standing before him, Qing Kong's eyes were filled with gratitude. He quickly moved away from the giant crater and returned to his original spot. Qing Kong had a wry smile on his face. I didn't expect the giant rock dragon lizard to have a second talent. Its combat power might be even stronger than a level 55 mutated beast. We're completely useless now. Before, You were worried I was unreliable. Now the tables have completely turned. If it weren't for Hyming, I'm afraid I would have been dead for sure. Just then, the yellow domain expanded again. Under the terrifying gravity, Hyming was fiercely suppressed. Ching Kong asked worriedly, "Can it win?" "Yay!" Kexi clenched her teeth tightly. Beads of sweat trickled down her cheeks. She was doing her best to maintain Hyming's buffs and healing. "If it doesn't work out, let's all retreat together. We'll give up on this mission." My face was calm. "You guys fall back. 1,000 meters. Hyming is about to use its ultimate." The three were instantly stunned. This wasn't even its full power, but they were only stunned for a moment. They turned and ran without hesitation. Half a minute later, the three looked back from 1,000 meters away. A ferocious roar suddenly echoed through the heavens and earth. Terrifying pitch-black flames surged and exploded, spreading over 1,000-meter range. Its tyrannical aura climbed to its peak. Within several thousand meters, it was as if the end of days had arrived. A 700-meter-tall, ferocious phantom slowly materialized. It emanated a terrifying aura that craved to devour everything. The three of them turned pale. A deep fear rose in their hearts. Yakexi's legs went so weak she couldn't stand up. She could feel that the divine law protecting Hyming, the goddess, had been directly torn apart by this power. To her, this impact was no less than the god she believed in, being slapped to death. At the same time, the giant rock dragon lizard's eyes were filled with terror. Engulfed in the pitch-black flames, the scales all over its body melted layer by layer. The yellow aura was devoured the moment it left its body. Its heavy earth domain was also completely suppressed. Seeing Hyming's mocking expression again, it was instantly enraged. It roared and charged forward. Its giant palm swung, carrying pitch-black flames and a yellow glow as it slammed down. Hyming didn't dodge or evade. The ferocious phantom raised its claws, which were condensed from terrifying flames, and tore forward like lightning. The two sides collided. A black and yellow shockwave exploded outward. The loud bang echoed in all directions. The giant rock dragon lizard suddenly felt a sharp pain in its palm. Its powerful defensive scales were directly pierced by the flaming claws. The terrifying temperature slowly devoured its life force. It finally panicked. It activated its talent with all its might. It suddenly turned around, its 100-meter-long tail whistling as it swept across. Hyming leaped lightly, dodging the attack. Then it appeared in front of the giant rock dragon lizard. Its claws swung down. The giant rock dragon lizard let out a miserable roar. It had always relied on its powerful defense to dominate. It had barely ever been injured, but now it was on the verge of serious injury. And while its defense and strength were great, its speed was slow and clumsy. Hyming, on the other hand, with the attack range bonus from the ferocious phantom, began to kite it. It could only stomp its feet in place, filled with helpless rage. After half an hour of being worn down, the giant rock dragon lizard's limbs were unsteady. Its life was about to run out. Its eyes were filled with fear. Hyming was unfazed. Its vertical pupils held only greed. The pitch-black flames boiled. It swung its claws, delivering the final blow. The giant rock dragon lizard roared in defiance, but its massive body crashed to the ground. It was instantly consumed by the pitch-black flames. Just then, a drone flew over quickly. The people at the command center saw the apocalyptic scene on the ground. They were all shocked. Yang Xiao's gaze locked onto the standing giant black wolf. There was no sign of the giant rock dragon lizard. He instantly understood the outcome. He gasped. "Just how many more surprises does this kid have for me?" he marveled. The first time, crossing 2 major ranks was already the limit for humanity. Then he crossed 3 major ranks to slay the 3-headed corrupt serpent. And now, at level 16, he's slain a level 52 king bloodline mutated beast. That's a gap of 4 whole major ranks. Yang Xiao was 100% certain that the other race's target was Chen Lin. He sneered. "We need to set up properly. This net for catching the big fish needs to be made stronger." Tomorrow, take the battle recording of Chen Lin slaying the 3-headed corrupt serpent and post it on the Academy's joint forum. Let everyone know that a dragon has been unleashed in our great Jia. The crowd responded with excitement. The 3 returned to their spot. Ye Kexi looked at me with admiration. "Junior Chen Lin, your summon is just too terrifying." Wang Yao and King Kong also nodded. King Kong said, "The other academies all say I'm leading you, but in reality, you're the one leading me." This time, Wang Yao and I didn't contribute at all. You and Kexi should split the contribution points. I shook my head. Let's stick to the original plan. I want to continue hunting level 50 mutated beasts. How about you guys help me out? After devouring the giant rock dragon lizard and its life crystal, Haiming's evolution value increased by 150 points. That's 10 times more than a level 40 mutated beast. If I kill 10 more, it might be able to evolve again. Qingkong's eyes lit up. He gladly agreed. Yakexi's support was crucial. Next, the three of them began clearing out the surrounding level 50 to 54 mutated beasts. Until late at night, when I saw Haiming's evolution value was full, I called the other three to prepare to head back. Everyone at the command center was full of praise. In one day, they killed 11 mutated beasts above level 50. That's faster than the instructors. A female military officer beside them said, in the entire Balian mountain range, there are only a little over 1,000 mutated beasts above level 50. At this rate, it's estimated they can clear them all out in just over a month. Young Xiao nodded in satisfaction. These level 50 mutated beasts are a hidden danger for the beast tide. Once they're all killed, the stronger, more intelligent giant beasts won't dare to attack so easily. Back in the dorm, I picked up the special device and used my contribution points to request 10 Tier 2 life crystals. Contribution points, you have more purchasing power than academic credits. They're part of the frontline trading system and can only be obtained by contributing to the human race. Killing mutated beasts naturally counts. Soon, the life crystals were delivered. I opened the safe and held all 10 thumb-sized crystals in my hand. The crystals instantly shattered, turning into a torrent of fragments that merged into my body. My level rapidly rose to 20. Seeing the second advancement prompt on my personal panel, I clicked it without hesitation. A white light flashed instantly. When my vision returned, I was on a plane. A transparent frame appeared before my eyes. Coordinates 00996. This is a world invaded by the fallen race. They enslave all, reproducing and growing stronger. Mission: kill the fallen. Number of participants 1. Time limit 24 hours. Cannot actively return to Blue Star. I frowned slightly. The fallen are one of the races attacking humanity. They actually have the spare energy to invade other worlds. My expression immediately turned serious. After a long while, I arrived at the edge of a cliff. I saw a huge plantation, surrounded by 2-meter-tall, gray-skinned, upright fallen, with 2 horns on their heads. Their eyes were bloodshot. They were forcing numb-faced humans to cut themselves and bleed, to feed small, entirely black trees that grew blood-red fruit. Seeing this scene, I was filled with rage. With a flash of fluorescent light, my battle armor covered my entire body. The ground instantly exploded. I leaped down from the 100-meter-high cliff. As 2 of the fallen were talking, a loud noise suddenly came from behind them. They turned around in confusion. In the billowing dust, a silver afterimage shot out. In the blink of an eye, I was in front of them. My armor-clad fist, carrying a white shockwave, swung fiercely. It hit one of the fallen right in the face. With the sound of its nasal bone shattering, it flew back dozens of meters like a cannonball, crashing into the dirt. Its brain was concussed. If not for its tough physique, its head would have already exploded. The other fallen's face changed drastically. It condensed black power in its hand, forming a spear and thrusting it at me. I didn't dodge or evade. I grabbed the spear directly and shattered its tip with force. The fallen turned in panic to call its kin, but my speed was faster. I drew my battle blade and slashed down, cutting it in 2. Gray blood splattered on my armor. All the fallen finally reacted. Pairs of terrifying, angry eyes looked over. I was fearless. My battle blade slowly transformed into a mighty 3-meter-long war halberd. Swung with terrifying weight, it made the air roar. Then I turned into an afterimage, instantly appearing 3 meters in front of Jinty. Jinty was horrified. He raised his shield to block, but was instantly sent flying. He crashed into the cliff wall. After he freed himself, he looked at me grimly. His strength and speed were no match for mine. He was a 3-ring fallen. But thinking of the 80 fallen in the plantation, Jinty smiled cruelly. "Everyone, attack, tear him to shreds, and feed him to the blood fruits," all the fallen roared. Black power surged, and the air filled with a repulsive aura. I was completely unaffected. My body shot forward. I thrust out the war halberd, sweeping it through the air with a boom. The heads of the 2 closest fallen were blasted apart by the halberd. Spears pierced towards me, but they couldn't even scratch my armor. As the fallen were stunned, the war halberd cut through the air, instantly killing a group of them. I was like a humanoid beast. Empowered by 220 points of strength, I wielded the 13-ton war halberd and opened a path. In the great slaughter, Fallen fell one by one, dismembered. Jinty started to panic. He condensed chains from black power and bound me with them. Quick helped me restrain him. As soon as he spoke, Jinty felt a tremendous force from the other end of the chains. His body was pulled uncontrollably. Forward! The terrifying war halberd slammed down from above. His face changed drastically. He frantically activated his talent. The surface of his skin broke, and a hard black keratin layer grew out, but he was still split in two by the war halberd. Seeing his brother die a horrible death, another Fallen turned and ran towards the royal city. I immediately changed the war halberd into a war spear. I aimed at the fleeing figure, tensed my arm muscles, and threw it with all my might. The war spear shot through the air and instantly blew his head apart. The remaining Fallen roared. "He's unarmed, quick! Get him before the words faded." I punched and blew up the head of a Fallen that charged at me. I began to fight with my bare hands. Every punch carried a white shockwave. Before long, all 80 Fallen were smashed to pieces by me. Just as I was about to pick up my war spear, a giant eye formed by gray array patterns suddenly appeared in the sky. I looked up at the giant gray eye. It seems I've been discovered. Then I took a deep breath. With a slight thought, I summoned Hyming. His body, over 100 meters long, was wreathed in a ferocious and terrifying aura. At this time, a large number of Fallen were already on their way. To be safe, I immediately clicked confirm. With my click, evolution began. The source power deep within Hyming's body trembled violently. Waves of terrifying evolutionary power swept through his entire body. Then, it turned into a black pillar of light that pierced through the clouds, directly shattering the gray eye. The heavens and earth seemed to tremble. Hyming roared at the sky. A terrifying and tyrannical aura, along with the sound, spread for several thousand meters. "Congratulations! Your summon Hyming has obtained the skill, Omnipotence. Congratulations, your summon. Hyming has obtained a new talent. Death Pupils. All stats increased by 90 points. I breathed a sigh of relief. It was another comprehensive, major enhancement. The most powerful part was the Flame, which was promoted to Heavenly Flame. After fusing 3 powers, it could now form a domain. As for the Death Pupils, although I haven't used it, a Tier 1 talent can't possibly be weak. Just then, array patterns suddenly appeared in the sky. A giant gray eye reappeared. Immediately after, a dense horde of Fallen charged fiercely from the horizon. The 10 Fallen at the very front were as high as level 55. A level 20 advancement trial of this difficulty has never appeared in the entire history of the human race. My thoughts stirred. The war spear transformed, turning into a war halberd. I said coldly, "Hyming, leave none alive." As soon as I spoke, Hyming's body rapidly expanded, quickly becoming a terrifying black beast 550 meters tall at the shoulder, and a full 1,000 meters long. Pitch black flames erupted from its entire body. Its deep blue pupils had turned gray. Its pupils were filled with a deathly aura that made all living things' hearts palpitate. Its ferocious roar echoed for over 10 kilometers. Under its terrifying aura, all the Fallen froze. They all felt a deep fear from the outside in. The terrifying flames burning all over its body made them feel extreme danger. Even from several kilometers away, the scorching heat did not diminish. With its 1,000-meter body, a single slow step from Hyming covered several hundred meters. This step immediately put the 5-ring Fallen on high alert. Suddenly, Hyming lunged. The ground within a few hundred meters immediately cracked. It simultaneously used swiftness to increase its speed and power surge, to absorb the energy of the world. Its figure instantly appeared among the Fallen horde. Its gray pupils stared at them coldly. Hyming raised its giant, powerful claw and swiped. A large shadow fell. Many Fallen were turned into meat paste under the terrifying giant palm and were instantly devoured by the pitch-black flames. Seeing this, the leader, Lealis, immediately shouted, "Ignore this monster! Go kill that human!" Watching all the Fallen bypass it, Hyming's pupils instantly turned icy. Its front paw slammed down. With a roar, the pitch-black flames on its body exploded outward for several thousand meters, engulfing everything within. Countless Fallen were instantly terrified. They couldn't help but feel the scorching pain, and their life force was being rapidly stripped away. In just a few seconds, the weaker Fallen were reduced to ashes. Lealis was shocked. "Damn it, what kind of power is this? It can directly burn my life source. The life source represents one's lifespan. Once lost, it cannot be recovered unless replenished with heavenly treasures. He hurriedly ordered, "Attack now! If we delay any longer, even if we win, we won't have much time left to live." A five-ring fallen nodded, immediately brandishing various weapons and unleashing their strongest killing moves. However, when the attacks hit Hyming, a golden light appeared, emanating an unshakable aura. All the attacks were blocked. Leolis gritted his teeth. How is its defense so strong too? Just then, a giant paw slammed down like an entire mountain range crashing down with a deafening boom. Black wings instantly burst from Leolis's back, and like a sharp sword, he decisively flew into the distance. However, his mind was suddenly filled with endless fear. A pair of ruthless pupils, containing a deathly intent, appeared in the void, staring at him. Leolis's figure froze instantly. Under the power of the death pupils, the intimidation effect was greatly enhanced. Then the giant paw slammed down fiercely. Leolis was completely unable to move. The ground instantly collapsed, as if the earth dragon had turned over. Looking at this giant black wolf, which was like a natural disaster, the remaining 9 fallen could see the fear in each other's eyes. This beast is too terrifying. It's like a monster. Let's run! The other 8 fallen immediately nodded. Black bone wings burst from their backs, and they flew desperately towards the royal city. Hyming completely devoured Leolis under its paw. Then it raised its pupils, looking coldly into the distance. It casually froze. One of the fallen instantly appeared behind it, and with a flash of its claws, a black light tore it to shreds. Seeing this, the remaining 8 five-ring fallen were scared out of their wits. They wished they could grow another pair of bone wings. Just then, a deathly intent that made the fallen's blood run cold surged from Hyming's pupils. It directly turned the area around one of the fallen into a gray zone, instantly erasing its life. At the same time, I watched the other charging fallen with a blank expression. My figure shot out instantly. My halberd swept in all directions, aimed at the fallen. Under its incomparably domineering power, flesh and blood exploded. They fell silent. Soon, the 100-meter area around me was filled with ash and body parts. After finding Hyming, who had finished its battle, I sped in the direction the fallen had come from, preparing to kill them all. This time, after devouring several thousand fallen, Hyming's body grew another 5 meters. The energy required for growth had clearly increased. Its evolution value only increased by 100 points, which was nearly 10 times harder than before its evolution. Just then, a majestic giant city, hundreds of meters tall, appeared in my line of sight. Countless fallen had already retreated. Only a single level 59 fallen was left waiting alone. Leolis's eyes were cold. Behind his 6-meter-tall body, a pair of terrifying black bone wings spread open. His entire body was wreathed in pressure. The black power of the fallen materialized into a stream of air, dimming the surroundings. Looking at this figure, my voice was cold. What a repulsive aura. Hyming, you deal with him. I'll go kill the other fallen. Hyming's body instantly expanded to 1,000 meters. Pitch black flames exploded like a black, cataclysmic beast. Its ferocious aura swept in all directions. The 1,000-meter plane cracked. Hyming shot out instantly, appearing before the giant city. Looking at this giant black wolf, 100 times larger than himself, Leolis's face was emotionless. A claw, flashing with black light, slammed down. It fell in an instant like a bolt of lightning. The moment it touched, the city wall, as hard as steel, directly exploded, as fragile as paper. However, just as the attack was about to land on Leolis, it was blocked by a barrier formed from the black aura. It couldn't break through. A mere beast, whose life level isn't even king tier. You don't really think you can overturn the heavens just by killing a few ants, do you? Leolis's tone was flat. He flicked his finger slightly. The black barrier instantly expanded and exploded, directly knocking Hyming back several hundred meters. Then the black power surged, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a giant demonic blade over 100 meters long, emanating a terrifying fallen aura. It turned all the weeds within 1,000 meters gray. Rings of dark aura continuously rose around Leolis. His power instantly climbed to its peak. I, the son of the demon king of the true fallen race, am not like those weaklings. Prepare to meet your death. Leolis swung the demonic blade down fiercely. The 100-meter blade shadow instantly slashed at Hyming. A golden light appeared on Hyming's body, but it shattered under the pressure after only a few seconds. Hyming roared, grabbing the demonic blade with both paws. relying on the strength of its 2,500 constitution points. It blocked with its physical body. The surrounding ground instantly collapsed by dozens of meters. In front, the demonic blade carved out a giant, bottomless fissure. After one blow, Hyming was considerably injured. Laet's face was indifferent. Not bad. You can take one of my moves and not die. I'll give you a chance now to become my mount, as long as you don't stop me from killing that human. Hearing this, an unprecedented fury instantly appeared in Hyming's eyes. It stared fiercely at Laet's. A ferocious roar shook the heavens and earth. The pitch-black flames on its body exploded, expanding to a range of several thousand meters in the blink of an eye, enveloping everything within. It burned fiercely. A terrifyingly ferocious phantom, over 2,000 meters tall, slowly materialized. This time, the phantom was almost solid. The aura it emitted made all things tremble. Feeling that all-devouring power, Laet's gaze gradually grew solemn. His life source was actually being stripped away. Hyming's pupils stared coldly at Laet's. Without moving, it raised its claw and instantly swung it down. The ferocious phantom moved in sync. Laet's expression changed slightly. He used all his fallen power to strengthen the barrier, but it still couldn't block the terrifying, ferocious phantom. He was slammed into the ground by the pitch-black flaming claw. Laet's face was grim. After feeling his life source being continuously stripped away, he flew into a rage. A terrifying power erupted from his body, but it only expanded less than 10 meters, before it could go no further. This stunned him. Before he could react, the ferocious phantom's claw swung again. Laet's instantly crashed through the hard, thick city wall, flying back several hundred meters. Just then, Laet's body suddenly grew to dozens of meters tall. Black patterns covered his skin. The black bone wings on his back spread wide, stretching a full 100 meters. A long black spear slowly materialized in his hand. The black aura exploded frantically. "Talent! Fallen demonic body! Die!" Laet's roared, and his figure instantly disappeared. With a boom, he charged through. The pitch-black flames, the sharp black spear, pierced forward. However, Hyming's reaction and speed were faster. With the attack range bonus from the ferocious phantom, it swatted him down like a fly, smashing him into the ground and creating a large crater. As he struggled to his feet, Laet's gritted his teeth. Born into the fallen nobility, he had never suffered such humiliation. "Baijin, what are you waiting for? Activate the heaven-falling seal for me!" His voice traveled to the forces far behind. Instantly, a black canopy, like an overturned bowl, covered the entire giant city. Shackles, dozens of meters wide, and wreathed in fallen power, emerged from the void, binding Hyming layer by layer. Countless streams of black aura eroded its body along the shackles, as if trying to assimilate it. Seeing Hyming bound, Laet's laughed wildly. Powered by tens of thousands of fallen, even a 6-ring powerhouse couldn't break free. "When the time comes, I'll be sure to torture you well." Just then, Hyming roared. Heavenly flame, pot fusion. The triple powers of greed, gluttony, gigantification, and death pupils. The pitch-black flames instantly went berserk, expanding 1,000 meters. A terrifying, deathly intent flowed throughout the entire domain. At this moment, any creature within the sea of black flames would be defined as dead. Even eternal, indestructible gods could fall. At the same time, the ferocious phantom on Hyming's body completely solidified. Iron eyes appeared. 2 pairs of gray pupils contained a terrifying, deathly intent. A single glance could annihilate a target. Within the domain, it was like the ruler of heaven and earth. Purgatory Death Field, open, a domain formed by the fusion of 3 talents, was terrifying beyond compare. At this moment, Laet's smile froze. His gaze gradually turned to terror. Inside the Purgatory Death Field, not only was his life being continuously devoured and converted by the pitch-black flames, but he was also being slowly worn down by the deathly intent. "Damn it, let's see if you wear me down first, or if I assimilate you first." Laet's face was filled with madness. He poured out all his fallen power, infusing it into the eroding shackles. Their power instantly rose to another level. Countless streams of fallen power covered Hyming's entire body. To completely corrupt his body and soul, Hyming roared at the sky. His firm will made it difficult for the corrupting power to advance. Ever since he was born, he was small and weak due to a mutation. Abandoned by the wolf pack in the cruel forest, hunger and cold almost drained away his body heat. It was his master's summon that saved his life. From that moment on, Ming decided to follow his master forever. He never fought because of a contract or a soul connection. The very meaning of his existence was to fight for him. At the same time, the fierce phantom also roared. Without needing Ming's command, the dark gray power swirling around it shattered the shackles instantly. A giant claw swung down in a flash, tearing apart the restraints. Then, the vicious phantom slowly looked at Laertes. His gray eyes were cold and merciless. A terrifying aura of death erupted from deep within. Laertes instantly felt extreme danger. His entire body suddenly turned gray. In just a few short seconds, more than half of his life force was wiped out. He was on the verge of death. Just then, a surge of black power erupted from his body, crushing the aura of death. Laertes looked awful. The protective power his father left him was gone. He didn't dare to stay any longer, turning around and fleeing immediately. Meanwhile, on the other side, I had already arrived behind the giant city. On the massive palace plaza, I hurled my war spear from hundreds of meters away. It pierced through the air, charging straight into the dense horde of tens of thousands of corrupted, instantly killing a huge chunk of them. All the remaining corrupted roared, each erupting with corrupting power. The dense black currents formed long shackles, binding me tight. Endless corrupting power surged along the shackles. I didn't feel a thing, but in my mind, I heard Yin, Dai's mournful cry. This made my expression darken, turning solemn. Just as I was about to take the hit myself, a ferocious roar suddenly echoed from far away. A massive corpse, dozens of meters large, crashed through countless buildings and smashed into a large group of corrupted. The terrifying impact crushed them into bloody pulp. The giant black wolf was unstoppable. Its 1,000-meter body shattered all the buildings in the blink of an eye. Its tyrannical aura made all the corrupted tremble violently. Looking at that massive corpse, all the corrupted were in disbelief. Lord Laertes is actually dead? Fear instantly spread among them. Ming casually shattered the shackles. I breathed a sigh of relief, then looked at Ming, who was wreathed in the death aura, and frowned. I can't let him use the death double pupils anymore. Otherwise, the backlash isn't something he can handle right now. Sensing my worry, Ming explained through telepathy that the death aura would dissipate on its own after a while. Hearing this, I nodded and started clearing out all the corrupted in the palace. Just as I finished dealing with the corrupted in the palace and walked out onto the plaza, the sky suddenly turned pitch black. Endless corrupting power filled the air, faintly forming a phantom. Finally, the hundreds of meters tall phantom formed by the corrupting power completely solidified. Its physical form was blurry, clad in ferocious armor. A repulsive aura instantly exploded outward. Rings of black currents rushed in all directions. This time, even with Yindai isolating it, I could still sense the danger. Just then, a cruel laugh echoed out. Hehehe, it's done. This fallen heaven phantom, formed by the power of tens of thousands of corrupted, has the strength of the sixth ring, and even carries a trace of the true body's power. Beckham spoke angrily. Brat, you killed our master. Now you'll go down with him. I didn't reply. I took out the Heavenly Authority sword palm from the ring realm and cast enhancement and recovery spells on Ming in advance. With a mighty roar, Ming instantly transformed into his giant form. Its 1,000-meter body was wreathed in a ferocious aura no weaker than the heaven-falling phantoms. The domain of the Purgatory Suppression Field, a fusion of 3 talents, instantly unfolded. The exploding pitch-black flames carried traces of golden light, containing a suppressive power. It instantly pushed back the gray domain. The dozens of fallen looked grim. They immediately flew back, not daring to stay within the black and gold domain. How is this possible? This domain of his is different from before. Staying inside, not only is our life source stripped away, but our power is also suppressed. At this moment, the ferocious phantom did not materialize above Ming's head. Instead, countless gold and black patterns covered its surface, emitting a divine light. It was majestic and domineering. Under the terrifying suppressive power, the surroundings became incredibly heavy. The black and gold power erupted. Its aura was like the roar of a god fiend suppressing purgatory, echoing for over 10,000 meters. With the enhancement of the Purgatory Suppression Field, Ming's physical body was even stronger. Every attack would carry a suppressive force, heavy and terrifying. Seeing this, the dozens of fallen looked even more grim. They immediately injected their own fallen power into the heaven-falling phantom. The heaven-falling phantom instantly grew by 100 meters, becoming even larger. The two pairs of black ancient wings on its back spread a full 1,000 meters. The gray domain instantly expanded, continuously clashing with the purgatory suppression field. They were incompatible. Rings of gray and black gold shockwaves exploded one after another, spreading in all directions. The level of this battle was too high. No one could interfere. At the same time, in a gray palace countless worlds away, on a throne of bones, a humanoid creature in ferocious gray battle armor suddenly opened its black eyes. A terrifyingly powerful aura instantly awakened. One of the fallen has used my power. He focused his mind, searching through the void. Soon, following the faint connection, a sliver of his consciousness descended upon the heaven-falling phantom. Instantly, a gray light shot from the heaven-falling phantom's eyes. It was no longer a mindless, dead thing. At this moment, Duotian's consciousness had descended into the phantom's body. He looked at Haiming. This black wolf, he marveled, is not even half a year old. Yet it has the power of a six-ring. What terrifying potential. Just then, with a roar, Haiming instantly broke through the gray domain, ignoring the corrosive power that surged towards it. Its domineering, powerful claws, carrying a suppressive force, appeared. A black light tore down fiercely. Duotian frowned slightly. His figure instantly retreated 1,000 meters, wanting to soar into the sky. But Haiming pursued relentlessly, its speed even faster. The terrifying suppressive force made the heaven-falling phantom's body sink. Seizing this momentary opening, Haiming leaped high, tearing with both claws at the same time. Under the suppressive force, Duotian's figure was slammed into the ground, creating a 1,000-meter-wide crater. With a world-shaking roar, Haiming instantly charged again. Relying on the enhancement of its purgatory suppression field, it gave Duotian no chance to create distance. Its claws tore down frantically. At the same time, its two pairs of gray pupils erupted. The power of death frantically wore him down. Even though the heaven-falling phantom was not a living being, the death pupils would still give it the definition of death, treating it no differently. At this moment, Duotian's gaze was solemn. 4 different talent powers. Although the dissipation of a sliver of consciousness is insignificant, this black wolf's potential is too great. It must be eliminated. Otherwise, before long, the human race will have another throne-level powerhouse, hindering the invasion of the true fallen race. Having thought of this, Duotian no longer hesitated. All the fallen power suddenly exploded, knocking Haiming back. Then he shot straight into the sky. Immediately after, endless fallen power surged from all directions. All the fallen discovered in horror that their own fallen power was being uncontrollably drained. As their bodies withered and died, a giant pitch-black spear a full 1,000 meters long materialized. Its terrifying power made the air crackle and pop. Rings of black aura rushed in all directions. The scene was horrifying. But that wasn't all. The gray domain surrounding him continuously shrank, eventually coating the pitch-black spear. This was the qualitative change of the throne level. Their control over domains far surpassed that of lower-level beings. They could both expand it to suppress opponents, and compress it to imbue their weapons, doubling their power. Duotian's gaze was calm. He instantly locked onto my position. The next moment, Haiming instantly shot forward 1,000 meters, its giant body blocking me directly. Duotian sneered, "I knew you would protect your master. Die!" But the next second, he froze. He saw that the purgatory suppression field was not expanding, but was continuously retracting inward. Its power was compressed until it boomed, and finally, it merged with Haiming's body. Instantly, the black and gold patterns shone brilliantly. An ultimate suppressive force exploded outward for several thousand meters. The ground instantly collapsed to a depth of over 10 meters. Countless rocks turned to dust. Duotian was shocked and enraged. The 1,000-meter black spear shot out, tearing through the air. Like a black bolt of lightning, instantly arriving in front of Haiming. This attack was almost infinitely close to the destructive power of a 7-ring, but under the suppressive force around Haiming, its speed was halved. Haiming roared, raising its claw and grabbing the tip of the spear. The two terrifying powers collided and exploded. The shockwave spread for tens of thousands of meters. At this moment, the black and gold patterns flickered wildly. Haiming's defense and physical strength grew even stronger. It didn't retreat a single step. The ground beneath its feet continuously cracked and collapsed. Duochen immediately pushed with all his might, using his fallen power to make the black spear sharper. But after the two powers clashed for several minutes, cracks appeared on the tip of the black spear and continued to spread. With Haiming's roar, it unleashed the full power of its body and domain. The 1,000-meter spear instantly shattered into countless black fragments. At the same time, the heaven-falling phantom also ran out of power and dissipated into black mist. In its final moments, Duochen deeply memorized my appearance. His consciousness returned to the Grey Palace. Duochen stood up from his throne. His aura was like an abyss, making all the demonesses tremble. He's only level 20. How does he know domain compression? His gaze was solemn. Such comprehension and control of power are too terrifying. The condition for breaking through to the 10-ring throne. This black wolf has already achieved it at level 20. What shocked him even more was that the black wolf's domain wasn't just attached to its body's surface, but was fused with its body. This is something only those at the Heavenly King level, above the throne, can do. Duochen sighed lightly. A monster. Then he calmed his thoughts. He took out a gray talisman and recorded my information. On the kill list of the true fallen race, all human geniuses with the potential to reach the throne would be marked so that fallen above the 6th ring could directly assassinate them. After doing this, he leaned back on his throne and closed his eyes in silence. At this moment, on the devastated land, Haiming's 1,000-meter body stood tall. The black and gold divine patterns on its body were utterly domineering. I cancelled the enhancement and recovery spells. My head was dizzy and groggy. Even with the mental recovery from the Tianquan's sword scepter, the cost of maintaining the buff still exceeded my limits. After waiting for a long time, the notification for the end of the reincarnation dungeon sounded. In the next second, Ming and I vanished. Time is up. Calculating final score, total corrupted killed, forcefully broke the 6th ring. Phantom of Fallen Heaven. Saved 974 people. Congratulations, your rating is perfect. Class growth stats, +5. The effects of enhancement and recovery have been strengthened. Skill summoning has been upgraded to holy summoning. I reappeared in my dorm room. I quickly unsummoned Ming to prevent him from collapsing the building. I checked my status panel. My class hadn't advanced yet. I still needed one more perfect rating in a reincarnation dungeon, but my skills had improved significantly. Enhancement's buff increased from 20% to 35%. Recovery went from slow healing to rapid healing, though its mana cost doubled. The biggest gain was the upgrade to my summoning skill. From now on, any creature I summon will definitely possess a holy aura. I was full of anticipation. I didn't rush to summon right away. Instead, I checked the news in Baiyun City on my phone. Seeing reports of hundreds of rescued people appearing out of thin air, I breathed a sigh of relief. The news stated that they were slaves captured by the corrupted from another world and were saved by a reincarnated professional in silver armor, who teleported them to Blue Star. The government promised to resettle them properly. In the photos, their emaciated bodies were already looking better. I figured Zhou Yuan must have done this. Once my tense nerves finally relaxed, a wave of exhaustion hit me. I hit the bed and fell fast asleep. In the early hours of the morning, Feng Yi and the other two returned, exhausted. Seeing me sound asleep, they gritted their teeth and dragged me awake. It turned out that after the military released the video of me slaying the three-headed snake, the forums exploded. Once everyone realized I did it entirely with my own strength, they started frantically taking on missions to compete. This forced the three of them to keep working without rest. Xiaoyang suddenly spoke up, saying that the students from Beilong Academy were using a strategy of cycling team missions, making their efficiency far surpass everyone else's. The three of them instantly reignited their fighting spirit. They decided to skip eating and immediately gathered their teammates to continue grinding missions. Seeing this, I chuckled and also got up to head to the mission board. Having not done any missions for most of the day, my rank had dropped from 10th to over 2000th. After thinking for a moment, I accepted a mission to kill a level 59 Dark Gold Dire Bear and a 6th Awakening mission. Then I turned and left, leaving the female soldier at the desk completely dumbfounded. That sixth awakening mission required killing a terrifying, sentient giant beast, something not even the instructors had managed to complete yet. In the command center, Yang Xiao rubbed his forehead, feeling both helpless and expectant. The drone specifically assigned to me continued its tracking. An hour later, riding on Heiming, I arrived deep within the mountain range. In an open clearing, we spotted the dark gold dire bear. It suddenly opened its dark golden eyes, and its massive 600-meter body stood up. The ground trembled. A tyrannical aura swept out. As it roared, trying to drive us away, I silently hopped off and backed away, leaving the battle to Heiming. Its level was too high. I couldn't intervene at all. I needed to earn contribution points as quickly as possible, to exchange for metal materials for silver butterfly to fuse with. Seeing that I had retreated to a safe distance, Heiming turned his head back, glaring coldly at the dark gold dire bear. His body rapidly expanded to over 1,000 meters long, with a shoulder height of 650 meters. A ferocious pressure erupted, suppressing the dark gold dire bear until it trembled in fear. The female officer in the command center was utterly shocked. In just half a day, he had grown from a few hundred meters to over 1,000. Yang Xiao was also extremely surprised. After all, an S's rank growth talent had never appeared in human history. As the ground shattered, Heiming's figure instantly dashed forward. Pitch-black flames exploded outward, and a ferocious phantom over 2,000 meters tall emerged. A 6,000-meter radius was engulfed in flames, which then shrank down to just over 2,000 meters to conserve mana. After the battle with Fallen Heaven, his control over his domain and power had improved drastically. The dark gold dire bear roared, its entire body wrapped in sharp air currents, its claws flashing with golden light. But in front of the ferocious phantom, its 600-meter frame looked like a dwarf. The pitch-black flaming claw slammed down. The dark gold dire bear stubbornly raised its paws to block. Rings of black and gold shockwaves exploded outward. The earth quaked. The sharp air currents were completely devoured. The dark gold dire bear bore the weight of a mountain. The ground beneath its feet caved in, and its knees gradually buckled. It roared in fury, muscles bulging, as it unleashed even stronger sharp air currents. But the ferocious phantom's movements suddenly shifted. Heiming seized the chance to rush right up to it, tearing down with his black-lit claws, leaving 4 deep, bone-exposing bloody gashes. The dark gold dire bear shrieked in agony, realizing that the pitch-black flames were seeping through its wounds and devouring its life force. Its eyes turned vicious. As it engaged in a frenzied brawl with Heiming, countless drops of blood dyed the ground red, all of it belonging to the dark gold dire bear. Relying on the ferocious phantom for a 2-on-1 advantage, Heiming remained completely unscathed. Finally, the dark gold dire bear roared at the sky, its aura rising steadily. Then, it abruptly turned its head and fled madly toward the depths of the mountain range. Giant trees snapped along its path, kicking up billowing clouds of dust. Heiming paused for a second before immediately giving chase. His agility stat of over 1,500 made his speed absolute. In the blink of an eye, he closed the distance. The dark gold dire bear looked back in terror, roaring to call for its king's rescue. On a distant mountain peak, a slumbering giant beast slowly opened its eyes. Countless blue lightning bolts crackled around its body. A terrifying roar echoed across over 100,000 meters of land. Amidst the deafening sound, a bear-like behemoth with a shoulder height of 1,000 meters, wreathed in spreading blue lightning, walked over on its hind legs. It was the level 62 Undying Frenzy Bear. The dark gold dire bear rushed to its side, complaining about Heiming invading their territory unprovoked. Hearing this, the Undying Frenzy Bear reacted. Blue lightning instantly erupted and spread wildly. A torrential downpour fell from the clear sky, and countless lightning bolts struck down from the thunderclouds. Converging into the eye of a thunderstorm, the scene looked like the apocalypse. This was the might of a giant beast's domain, altering the very heavens and earth. It was even stronger than the phantom of fallen heaven. It clearly possessed a king-tier bloodline. My gaze grew heavy. I took out the heavenly authority sword staff and cast enhancement on Heiming. The Undying Frenzy Bear's eyes narrowed. The ground beneath its feet exploded as it instantly charged right in front of Heiming. Right at that moment, pitch-black flames carrying a terrifying suppressive force erupted from He Ming's body. Black and gold divine wing patterns spread across his entire body. A domineering aura swept in all directions. The undying frenzy bear's body sank, its lightning domain actually being suppressed. Heaven refining suppression domain. I alone am the sovereign. The 1,000-meter tall He Ming looked like a god or demon suppressing heaven and earth. A terrifying aura pulsed around him. The undying frenzy bear was utterly horrified. Seeing the claws striking like black lightning, it roared and swung its paw to meet the attack. The moment the black, gold, and blue powers collided, shockwaves exploded outward like a tsunami. The sheer scale was monstrous. The undying frenzy bear pushed its domain to the absolute limit, yet couldn't break free from the suppressive force. The heaven-refining suppression domain was a terrifying domain formed by fusing He Ming's 3 talents. Even the gloomy domain carrying the power of a throne couldn't contend with it. It roared, swinging its other claw wrapped in violent lightning. He Ming was completely fearless, meeting it head-on with his black-lit claws. The 2,000-meter behemoths clashed continuously. Waves of shockwaves exploded, shattering the earth and annihilating all vegetation. Lightning from the sky struck He Ming repeatedly, but he tanked it all with his tyrannical defense, giving the opponent absolutely no opening. I watched from a distance, silently casting recovery. The previously evenly matched battle instantly tilted in He Ming's favor. The undying frenzy bear roared in fury. "Bear 2! Go kill that human!" The dark gold dire bear charged at me with a brutal glare. He Ming instantly flew into a rage. His gray eyes flared, and an aura of death turned the space around the dark gold dire bear gray. A zone of life eradication. It collapsed on the spot, heavily injured. The undying frenzy bear seized this momentary pause. Its massive claws transformed into a dazzling pool of lightning and slammed viciously onto He Ming's head. Under the impact of that terrifying power, He Ming's front half sank as he blocked it. The earth shattered. The frenzy bear took the opportunity to relentlessly press down with its lightning, bombarding him madly. At this time, the dark gold dire bear struggled to its feet and charged over with a roar. My expression darkened. Just as I was planning a strategic retreat, a loud boom echoed from the distance. Amidst the billowing dust, a woman wielding a 4-meter halberd and wearing golden armor sprinted over. It was Ji Fei. Her speed was incredible. Every step cracked the ground, dragging a long, deep trench behind her halberd. As she neared the dark gold dire bear, she swung her halberd and leaped into the air. The halberd's head expanded to over 20 meters wide and slashed down viciously. The all-shattering halberd gleam struck the dark gold dire bear's heavily injured body, leaving massive, deep wounds. The dark gold dire bear glared at her furiously, bringing its massive paws down to crush her. Ji Fei's battle intent surged. Her halberd expanded once more. She dashed forward in a flash, dodging the attack, and immediately followed up with a horizontal slash that tore right through the dark gold dire bear's flesh. In just a few short minutes, the dark gold dire bear's massive body crashed to the ground. Unwilling to die, it unleashed a dense barrage of sharp air currents. Ji Fei had anticipated this. Her vitality erupted, manifesting as a tangible red aura. She quickly swept her halberd, scattering the air currents completely. Finally, Ji Fei leaped up with the 30-meter halberd head and smashed it down mercilessly. The dark gold dire bear's skull caved in, and it died completely. She let out a breath. Her vitality aura dissipated, and her halberd returned to normal. She walked toward me with a smile. "How about it? Weren't you moved by your instructor's rescue?" Recalling her brutal fighting style, the words female T-Rex popped into my mind. Ji Fei narrowed her eyes, asking with a dangerous glint in her gaze. I quickly shook my head and changed the subject. "Instructor Ji, why are you here? The commotion was huge. Just came over to take a look." Instructor Jiang said the exact same thing before. The corners of her mouth curled up. "So do you believe me?" I glanced at the halberd in her hand and said sincerely, "Of course." Seeing that I was fine, He Ming relaxed. He retracted the heaven-refining suppression domain around his body. The 1,000-meter suppressive force grew even stronger, instantly breaking the undying frenzy bear's suppression. The two sides engaged in a desperate brawl once more, fighting until the earth cracked and the mountains collapsed. The sheer scale of the battle was terrifying. Right at that moment, the thunderclouds and lightning within a 10,000-meter radius suddenly grew violent, striking the ground madly. Endless pitch-black thunderclouds churned above Heiming, forming a storm eye that covered a full 10,000 meters. A terrifying, contemptuous power gradually built up. Heiming's gray eyes showed no fear. He controlled the heaven-refining suppression domain, slowly retracting it. As the power was compressed, it immediately began to rumble continuously. In just over 10 seconds, the domain completely fused into his physical body. Instantly, the black and gold divine wing patterns shone brilliantly. An unparalleled, terrifying, suppressive force suddenly emerged. In a world darkened by black clouds, on one side was an incredibly violent storm, with countless flashes of lightning resembling divine punishment. On the other side stood the 1,000-meter giant wolf, his black and gold patterns shining to the extreme, looking up at the sky like a god or demon. Their terrifying powers split heaven and earth in two. The scene was incredibly spectacular. Within the eye of the thunderstorm, countless lightning elements gathered entirely, and with a furious roar from the undying frenzy bear, they instantly poured down. In an instant, the 10,000-meter radius went dark. A world-ending pillar of blue lightning crashed down from the sky. Under this 1,000-meter thick lightning pillar, everything, including the air itself, was blasted apart. It completely engulfed Heiming's entire body. The ground within a radius of several thousand meters vanished. Yet, in the crater over 300 meters deep, the 600-meter-tall black wolf still stood tall and unyielding. The black and gold patterns all over his body shone to their absolute limit, becoming the only bright spot in this darkened world. The undying frenzy, Bear's eyes were filled with disbelief. It roared, "Impossible! How is this possible?" Under the suppressive force permeating his body, Heiming cracked the earth with every step. As he walked toward the undying frenzy bear, his gray eyes were cold and merciless, filled only with killing intent. Heiming instantly lunged, his claws swinging down with a terrifying, suppressive force. Seeing the undying frenzy bear die, cheers erupted in the command center. "We won. That summon is too cool. He's practically a god." That figure standing unyielding beneath that contemptuous lightning pillar, they would probably never forget it for the rest of their lives. Yang Xiao laughed. As a peak Ninth Awakening powerhouse, he could see much more. Controlling a domain, that's something only a throne can do. Right now, he had only just condensed his own domain, still half a step away from truly controlling it. More importantly, the Black Wolf could already fuse with its domain. That was the signature technique of a heavenly king. By the time I returned to the dorm, it was already early morning. Just then, a soldier walked over and handed me a safe. "Commander Yang Xiao asked me to pass this to you." I nodded, went into my room, and opened the safe. 6 top-tier summoning materials immediately caught my eye. I was a bit surprised. Was this a reward for killing so many mutated beasts? In that case, I might as well start summoning early. I was actually really looking forward to a summon with Holy Aura. I arranged the summoning materials, reached out my hand, opened it in the void, and cast summoning. Formation patterns instantly appeared on my palm. As the connection to the other side was established, incredibly intense golden light suddenly erupted. A humanoid figure with golden hair and wings appeared, carrying a holy, pure aura. I glanced at its race and was absolutely amazed. It was actually an angel. Back in the Rift Canyon, Luolan had condensed a phantom, containing a trace of a high angel's power, and even that was considered an S-rank talent. It was clear that the angel race was incredibly powerful. From the beginning of time until now, it seemed no summoner had ever been able to summon such a powerful race as an angel. After all, they simply wouldn't respond to summons or form contracts with you. However, looking at this young golden angel on the verge of death with the wings on her back broken, I fell into deep thought. Great, just great. If you're not weak, you come crippled, huh? I smiled and shook my head. Since this little angel responded to my summon, there was no way I'd abandon her. I walked over and touched my finger to the young angel's pale forehead. Instantly, a voice echoed in my mind. "Commencing scan. Loyalty will never betray. Proceed with lifebound connection?" Without hesitation, I chose confirm, accompanied by unimaginable excruciating pain. Coming from the depths of my mind, lifebound connection complete. Congratulations, your summon has awakened. The unique talent sun and moon rotation, the unconscious young angel, was instantly lifted by a vast, profound power. This power transformed into countless sequences and entered her body. Immediately, her severely damaged origin and life force rapidly recovered. After a long while, the young angel's golden eyelashes fluttered, and she opened her eyes, which radiated a holy aura. In her left golden eye, a grand sun faintly rose and fell, containing a majestic, scorching intent. In her right eye was a chillingly cold, solitary moon. Behind her, her soft golden wings reignited, looking incredibly beautiful as they slightly unfurled. Overall, both her appearance and temperament were so high they broke the limits of human imagination. The young angel fluttered her wings and approached, grabbing my clothes with her little hands and called out clumsily, "Master!" Looking at the young angel, I smiled and said, "From now on, we are partners. What's your name?" I didn't just give her a random name, because from the moment an angel is born, they inherently receive their own unique true name. Diana, 10 days. I nodded, a bit curious. Diana, why did you agree to form a summoning contract? Looking at you right now, you're probably not even a year old. You shouldn't have been able to accept it. At this moment, an angel, a race that disdained being summoned, had been summoned by me. Hearing my words, Diana's eyes dimmed. I fell from the holy tree, and then I was corrupted by a black mist. Everyone else disappeared too. Hearing this, I immediately understood. They had been invaded by enemies. And my summon, to the 10-day-old her at that time, was her only lifeline. I patted her golden hair and comforted her. "It's okay. One day, I'll take you back." Diana gently rubbed against my hand. Master." Then, with a thought, I checked her status panel. Summon, 10 days. Race, Angel. Level, 20. Skill, Holy Blessing. Grants the target 50% of her own stats. Skill, Holy Radiance, releases her power to illuminate the surroundings. Allies within range continuously recover from injuries and gain a layer of holy protection, blocking any attack. Talent, sun and moon rotation. When the grand sun hangs in the sky, all things will have nowhere to hide, and souls will be incinerated. When the solitary moon hangs high, the chakrams manifest, granting the true power of final annihilation. When the sun and moon intersect, the moment of judgment arrives, bringing heaven and earth to a standstill. After reading it, I was completely shocked. The key was sun and moon rotation. Whether it was the grand sun or the solitary moon, both looked incredibly powerful. Especially when the two intersected, it could even bring heaven and earth to a standstill. Directly touching upon the domain of time, the angel race was truly overpowered. Afterward, I unsummoned Diana, ready to head back out to the wild to grind monsters. Meanwhile, in the command center, everyone was staring intently at the screen, waiting with extreme anticipation for me to come out. However, seeing that there were no beasts around me, they were instantly disappointed. I really want to know what his third summon is. What do we do? I'm dying of curiosity. It definitely isn't weak, right? Everyone started guessing one after another. Yang Xiao didn't join in. Regardless of what the third summon was, with that black wolf around, my potential evaluation would absolutely not drop. At this time, deep in the mountain range, a middle-aged man muttered a few obscure incantations, and the void began to vibrate violently. Countless cracks appeared in the fabric of reality, spreading out like a shattered mirror. Soon after, the space couldn't hold up anymore and was torn open by a pair of pitch-black demonic claws, creating a gap dozens of meters wide. Soon, from the other side, a full 100 corrupted walked through. Their strength was all between the 4th and 5th rings. Any stronger, and they wouldn't be able to cross over. The structural integrity of this spatial tunnel was very weak and could collapse at any moment. The supreme powerhouses could naturally open stronger spatial tunnels, but doing so would directly shatter the cloaking formation and be discovered by the humans. Hehehe, I'm going to slaughter to my heart's content this time. Feeling the waves of malicious aura pouring in, the middle-aged man's face turned a bit pale, but he forced himself to stay calm. "Do you have the resources you promised me?" The leader, Layakru, glanced at the middle-aged man with a hint of disdain, then tossed a storage bag over. The middle-aged man hurriedly caught the storage bag with both hands. After sending his consciousness inside, his face instantly filled with excitement. These items were enough to push him straight to the seventh awakening, and this was just the reward for leaking a single piece of human intelligence. It was so easy to get. Layakru frowned and said, "Hurry up and hand over the list of top geniuses here." The middle-aged man immediately handed over the list he had compiled over the past few days. He passed it up. "This person named Chen Lin, you need to pay special attention to him." Layakru was a bit skeptical. "He's only level 16. He doesn't even have a talent. What's so special about him?" The middle-aged man explained. 3 days ago, at just level 16, he crossed a 28-level gap to slay a mutated beast, saying that he even brought out a video as proof. After watching it, Layakru's face was filled with absolute shock. Such terrifying combat power. Among our corrupted true ancestors, only the descendants of the supreme beings could do this. This human absolutely cannot be left alive. Beside him, Layakli's eyes lit up. She licked her lips. "I'll go deal with him." Layakru frowned, knowing his sister had probably taken a liking to this person and wanted to assimilate him into a slave. But that was basically the same as killing him. So he ordered everyone to find their respective targets and begin the hunt. Leave no one alive. Hearing this, all the corrupted revealed cruel smiles and flew off in different directions. Meanwhile, a patrolling micro-drone instantly spotted this scene. "It's the alien races. How did they appear here? Quickly, notify the students to evacuate the mountain range. Have all soldiers prepare for combat," looking at those corrupted, the weakest of which were fourth ring. The female officer's face was grim, as she immediately issued a series of orders. Yang Xiao didn't look surprised. He just said, "Let's go," and turned to leave. The female officer nodded. She understood that Yang Xiao was going to personally provide support, but the severe injury on his body would undoubtedly worsen. Thinking of this, the female officer's eyes revealed deep hatred, blaming herself for not being a combat professional. She didn't have the strength to fight alongside the others. Clenching her fists, a shadow fell over her heart. Soon, the command center fell into silence, with only orders and transmissions constantly being sent out. At this time, on a distant high cliff, a female corrupted with an alluring figure slowly flew down, looking at the silver-armored figure guarded by the giant black wolf. Layakli revealed a smile. "What great luck! Found him so quickly, and it seems he's right in a weakened state. You're going to be my toy for sure." Layakli licked her lips, and her figure suddenly dashed out. Countless black threads spread from her body. Feeling a disgusting aura surging toward me, I instantly opened my eyes, my gaze turning cold, and He-Ming, who had sensed her long ago, had already looked up at her. Layakli met those two gray eyes, and a chill instantly ran down her spine. What's going on? Her body couldn't help but tremble slightly, but she quickly suppressed it. Layakli decided to strike first, waving the threads to shoot them all out, swarming toward He-Ming like a plague of locusts. Golden light surfaced all over He-Ming's body, blocking the threads. His gray eyes looked at her indifferently. In the next moment, Layakli's consciousness suddenly appeared in a void of dark space. A pair of cold, merciless, double-pupiled gray eyes opened. Under the gaze of those gray double pupils, endless terror surged up, drowning her entire mind. Layakli trembled uncontrollably, her body unable to move. She could only watch helplessly as He-Ming walked toward her step by step. With his massive size, he arrived right in front of her in just a few seconds. Then, with a single paw, he pinned her to the ground. Pitch-black flames instantly flared up and began to devour her. Throughout the entire process, Layakli, a level 56 corrupted, didn't even have the slightest chance to resist. This scene made the originally silent and heavy command center instantly light up with hope. "Good kill, the Black Wolf is insane." He-Ming lifted his paw and said in a deep voice, "Master, she's not dead yet." Hearing He-Ming's voice, I replied coldly, "Go after her. Make sure to kill her." Now that I had Diana with me, even if I let He-Ming leave for a while, I wouldn't be in any danger. Understood. His body shattered the earth as he instantly dashed in a certain direction. Over there, Layakli, with a terrified expression, was flying rapidly toward the spatial tunnel. Too terrifying. That black wolf is simply too terrifying. Even now, though those gray double pupils had disappeared, she was still overwhelmed with fear. At this moment, Layakli only wanted to leave and quickly bring back the news. that the humans had produced someone comparable to a supreme descendant. As for this operation to hunt human geniuses, their side had definitely failed. With that terrifying black wolf around, any corrupted who ran into it would die. Right at that moment, an earth-shattering noise came from behind. Liakli was instantly startled. However, Hai Ming behind her didn't want to leave me for too long. His body instantly expanded, transforming into a 1,000-meter behemoth. He crossed dozens of kilometers in an instant, appearing right behind Liakli. His giant paw fell, casting a massive shadow. The earth split apart, and the tremors spread for a full 10,000 meters. Under Hai Ming's giant paw, the pitch-black flames completely devoured Liakli. Through Xiao Ai, I already knew the corrupted had arrived in the Centennial Mountain Range. After thinking for a moment, I decided to split up. To hunt down these corrupted, having these two powerful summons stick together now would be too much of a waste. Thinking of this, I called over a micro-drone to guide Hai Ming. Hai Ming instantly charged out, a hint of unprecedented eagerness appearing in his gray eyes. The female officer sighed in awe. To grow to this level in just a few days? If you gave him a year, could he fight a throne? Just thinking about it was unbelievable. Up until now, China had only produced 85 thrones. This was the total accumulated over more than 100 years. They were all top-tier human powerhouses who had fought for over a decade, standing out from countless generations of geniuses. The reason they were so rare was largely due to the alien races. In the massive meat grinder that was the frontline battlefield, no matter how much of a genius someone was, they couldn't make a splash. A single attack from the alien races would result in countless sacrifices. Many thrones would fall because of this. And today, the number of surviving thrones in China was only 30. Meanwhile, deep in the mountain range, a woman wearing golden armor was wielding a mighty halberd wrapped in blood aura, suppressing a full 4 level 55 corrupted. Under the terrifying red gleam, the air itself was blasted apart. The 4 corrupted couldn't withstand it head-on at all, and retreated continuously. Watching this scene, Liakru frowned, slowly condensing a black spear in his hand. He didn't have time to waste here. There were still many geniuses waiting to be killed. Liakru's figure instantly dashed out, his black spear, thrusting viciously with the power of corruption. Facing the sudden attack, Jifei reacted extremely fast. Her entire body's vitality erupted, and the halberd head instantly expanded. A berserk aura instantly swept the surroundings. In Jifei's eyes, battle intent brimmed. The halberd swept out with a red blood gleam, and wherever it passed, everything was slashed apart. Liakru looked at his shattered black spear, his expression grave. To have such combat power at only level 55, she must be eliminated. Liakru immediately unleashed his power of corruption. Black mist surged out, spreading over a 100-meter radius. The light instantly dimmed. Seeing this, the other corrupted also began to unleash their power of corruption. Jifei's entire body was covered in a red glow, her vitality swirling around her to resist the corruption. Her eyes turned cold. Trying to assimilate me? You're courting death! Her figure instantly charged at Liakru. Amidst the explosive sounds in the air, she swung her halberd, focusing her attacks entirely on him. The 4 corrupted hurriedly followed up and attacked Jifei, but Jifei completely ignored them, her aura reaching the absolute peak of frenzy. She wouldn't stop until she killed Liakru. Under the corruption, her super armor burst state wouldn't last long. If it ran out, she really might be assimilated. Qing Kong, who was fighting on the other side, noticed what was happening here, and his expression instantly grew anxious. He pushed himself to the limit, activating Limit Transcendence, and slashed madly. At the level 56 corrupted in front of him, wanting to go support Instructor G. Instructor G had come to save them, yet now she was trapped in a siege by the corrupted. But the corrupted clearly noticed his intentions. It sneered coldly, and directly engaged him in close combat. At the same time, Liakru drank a bottle of gray blood. His aura climbed madly, reaching the 6th ring. His strength shot straight up to the throne level. True blood was truly terrifying. Liakru broke into a wide grin. He condensed a black spear with one hand, and threw it. The terrifying spear tip instantly pierced forward. Immediately after, the sound of shattering armor rang out. The black spear pierced through flesh, emerging from Jifei's back. Blood dripped from the spear tip onto the ground. Seeing this scene, Layakru laughed and walked up step by step. Become my slave. Right at that moment, silver spear tore through the air, pierced through the black mist, and stabbed into the ground right in front of Layakru's feet. A figure in silver armor rushed over from a distance. Layakru frowned slightly. My sister actually didn't kill you? It seems she's already dead. Layakru showed no emotion at all, not feeling the slightest bit of sadness over his sister's death. I glanced at the situation on the battlefield and instantly understood in my heart that this wasn't something I could handle. With a thought, a humanoid creature less than half a meter tall, with golden wings on her back, appeared. A holy aura instantly permeated the surroundings, causing the expressions of the six corrupted to change drastically. They all looked over. It's an angel. But immediately after, their gazes turned incredibly fervent. It's a young angel. It doesn't have any attack methods. Assimilating an angel is the highest symbol of honor among the corrupted true ancestors. Thinking of this, Layakru became ecstatic. Ha 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 ha! Chen, Lin, I really should thank you for bringing me such a grand gift. Feeling the disgusting stares, Diana frowned. This black mist was very familiar. It was them who had invaded her home. Anger surfaced in Diana's eyes. She spread her wings and flew into the sky. A grand, brilliant sun faintly appeared in her left golden eye. A terrifying, scorching golden light erupted from her body. A massive, 1,000-meter-wide, dazzling golden sun appeared out of nowhere behind her. Diana's young body also transformed into her adult form at this moment. Tall and slender, her golden eyes revealed a majestic aura. Boundless, holy, and scorching golden light shone down. The black mist was completely purified in just a few seconds. All the corrupted felt as if their bodies had been cast into hell, suffering in agony. Their power of corruption was also directly suppressed. This filled their hearts with absolute horror. For the longest time, the corrupted true ancestors and angels had been mortal enemies who countered each other. But under this grand sun, the balance was clearly broken. I shall purify your souls and cleanse your heavy sins. As her majestic, indifferent words fell, submit. The grand sun behind Diana instantly erupted with golden light, growing even more scorching. The light dyed a 10,000-meter radius golden, as if a second sun had appeared in the world. The terrifying power of the grand sun pulsed through the surroundings. The bodies of the six corrupted suddenly ignited with scorching golden flames. The soul-searing torment instantly made them scream. Layakru's face contorted. His previous ecstasy was long gone, leaving only intense pain and ferocity. He desperately unleashed his power of corruption, combining his sixth ring strength with his talent. To double its power, he formed a black barrier around his body, trying to isolate the golden flames. However, unlike He Ming's pitch-black flames, this attack targeted the soul and could pierce through anything. It couldn't be blocked physically at all. Only soul-based defensive methods could resist the corruption. As the black mist vanished, Jifei weakly raised her head, looking at that figure standing high in the sky, radiating brilliant majesty, an impossibly beautiful silhouette that one couldn't look directly at. She laughed. You can even summon an angel. You're really something. Waves of holy power, accompanied by shining golden light, sprinkled over the earth. Everyone's injuries began to heal rapidly. Ching Kong, covered in bloody gashes, felt a trace of warmth, and the pain from his wounds instantly lessened. Without any hesitation, he abandoned all defense and went purely on the offensive, trading blow for blow. With the appearance of the grand sun in the sky, the situation on the battlefield instantly reversed. The well-read Layakru felt like he had been deceived by his knowledge. Damn it! Didn't they say young angels only had support abilities? Just making eye contact for a single second, Diana's majestic golden eyes made his entire body tremble, and his eyes stung so badly they bled. It felt just like facing the supreme beings of his own race. He knew he couldn't drag this out, otherwise his soul would be burned to death. He immediately roared, "Go kill that human, then!" The black mist exploded as he charged toward Diana, intending to shoot her down. Diana slowly raised her hand with an indifferent expression. Countless scorching golden swords appeared around her and shot toward all the corrupted. The golden swords, carrying the power of purification and incineration, instantly pierced through Layakru's body, knocking him straight down to the ground from 100 meters in the air. At this moment, Diana, standing high in the sky, looked just like a deity commanding the sun. All the corrupted gritted their teeth, Pierced by the golden swords, not only were they injured, but the power of corruption within their bodies was also being purified, and the burning of their souls accelerated. Damn it, under this grand sun, we can't fight at all! Liacru's face looked awful. Don't panic, Empress Feeling said. There would be people joining us in the hunt. Just as he finished speaking, several figures, cloaked in gray robes, sprinted over from a distance. Each of them possessed the strength of a sixth awakening. Seeing the shadow insignia on their gray robes, Jifei instantly recognized them, her expression turning furious. It's the Shadow Cult! These damn heretics! The cultists ignored her and instantly leaped past her. Their target was clearly me. Seeing this, Diana raised her hand. Golden flames instantly ignited, burning their souls, and golden arrows appeared, shooting toward them. However, these cultists chose to tank the damage head-on. In her Grand Sun form, Diana lacked a terrifying, guaranteed kill move. Immediately, the Grand Sun behind Diana slowly retracted. Then her right golden eye faintly revealed a solitary moon that emerged alongside it. As this cold, solitary moon hung high, a radius of tens of thousands of meters instantly went dark. The faint moonlight illuminated the world, carrying a terrifying chill that made one's heart palpitate. The expressions of all the cultists instantly changed, and they looked up. Unlike her grand sun form, Diana's eyes were now cold and clear, devoid of any emotion. Her holy aura had also vanished, leaving only a terrifying chill radiating from her. The wings on her back and her golden hair had turned silver white. Standing before the solitary moon, she looked like a proud and aloof deity. Around her, 9 chakrams manifested, slowly spinning with the dark red true power of final annihilation. Accompanied by Diana's indifferent voice, 6 of the annihilation chakrams instantly tore through the air. Their speed was absolute. In an instant, they arrived right in front of the 6 cultists. The cultists' expressions changed in shock, and they each deployed their defensive methods. However, under the true power of final annihilation, which could break through any defense, their defenses were as fragile as paper. Everyone's bodies were sliced in two. Right at that moment, Liacru, freed from the suppression of the Grand Sun, instantly charged at Diana high in the sky. Terrifying black mist surged, forming a 12-meter-long black spear that he violently hurled. The black spear pierced the air at supersonic speeds, shooting toward Diana. One annihilation chakram immediately met it, directly slicing the black spear to pieces inch by inch. The remaining 2 chakrams instantly shot toward Liacru. Seeing this, the few corrupted on the ground immediately charged at me, their eyes full of killing intent. This human must die. That black wolf had a combat power gap of a full 28 levels, and this angel who controlled the sun and moon was even more absurd, suppressing and beating them across a gap of 50 or even 60 levels. If he was allowed to fully grow, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, Diana immediately raised her hand to recall them. 3 annihilation rings instantly slashed toward these fallen. The 3 annihilation rings suddenly collided, merging together. They instantly transformed into a shape of 3 intertwined rings. The entwined annihilation true force was even more powerful. A dark red light flashed. It instantly shattered all the fallen. Diana glanced at Layak, who was still struggling to resist. Diana slowly raised her hand. 6 annihilation rings began to merge. Layak, noticing this, his expression changed drastically. He activated the throne true blood and the last of his fallen power within him, blasting the 3 rings apart. Layak looked at me with immense jealousy. Such a perfect angel! Why would she choose to obey him? But soon, Layak sneered. He took out a pitch-black wheel. As he turned it, a 100-meter-wide light instantly lit up beneath his feet. This chance to summon a throne was originally meant to be used on that prodigy, who awakened in Sa-rank talent to prevent any powerful guardians from protecting him. But both of my summons have shown too much terrifying potential. He couldn't let me continue to grow. At that moment, countless arcane runes intertwined and wove together, forming a pitch-black grand summoning array. A gray fallen, over 10 meters tall, slowly appeared. A terrifying aura instantly swept out, almost suffocating. Ching Kong and the others' faces turned pale. A deep sense of despair welled up within them uncontrollably. Wisps of black energy slowly spread out. Wherever it passed, grass and trees were eroded and withered. Diana's expression grew solemn. With a raise of her hand, the crescent moon transformed into a blazing sun hanging in the sky. However, the brilliant golden light couldn't penetrate the darkness. I immediately sensed something was wrong. I was about to turn and run, but I stopped myself, because just as the dark array appeared, Yang Xiao walked up to my side and patted my shoulder. We've been waiting for this alien throne for a long time. Don't be afraid. Hearing this, I instantly realized this was a long-planned trap. As expected, the alien throne completely ignored me. Instead, it looked expressionlessly toward the Hengshan base. Over there, as the summoning array was being set up, an incredibly powerful aura erupted instantly, shattering the clouds in the sky. It rushed over with terrifying momentum, arriving here in just a few breaths. Looking at the young man standing in the void, the alien throne spoke slowly. Zhang Jue, you're supposed to be guarding the front lines. By rushing here, aren't you afraid your defensive line will be breached? Zhang Ju waved his hand. It doesn't matter, he said. The human race has given up anyway. The alien throne immediately understood it had fallen into a trap, but it didn't seem to care. Zhang Ju glanced down. What are you waiting for? Get out of here, he shouted. Want to get shaken to death? Hearing this, Yang Xiao immediately led everyone away. A clash between thrones, the aftershock alone, could destroy an area of over 100,000 meters. Even if Zhangju's domain could isolate the force, they would still be a hindrance here. Seeing this, the alien throne didn't stop them. With Zhang Jue present, it couldn't touch anyone else. As one of the more active thrones on the front lines in the past 2 years, his strength was well known to almost all the alien experts. The moment they left, a gray domain suddenly expanded. Even with the power isolation, the aftershock from the clash of the two thrones still made the earth tremble for hundreds of thousands of meters. The remaining people prepared to continue clearing out the other fallen. But Yang Xiao had me stay behind. Chen Lin, just let your summons go. I thought for a moment, and agreed. The silver butterfly hadn't been upgraded in a long time. It would probably struggle even against a 4-ring fallen. So I let Diana go kill the fallen alone. Yang Xiao looked at me and sighed. I never expected this. Your third summon is actually an angel. The angel's combat power is no less terrifying than that black wolf. If she can ascend to the throne in the future, it would be like adding 2 throne-level combatants to the human race. Thinking of this, Yang Xiao continued. The alien race thought that through traitors, they had figured out all of humanity's trump cards. In reality, those were all things we intentionally revealed, just to foster their confidence that they had everything under control, so we could screw them over big time later. He clearly valued me greatly, revealing almost all the inside information to me. I had no questions. I could now see the full picture of this game. Since the information couldn't be hidden, the human race went with the flow and set a trap. First, eliminate all the elite fallen invading the rear. Then, lure an alien throne to the rear and kill it. The price was that some geniuses would perish in this plan. They wouldn't even know they were just bait. But such is the nature of war between civilizations. Just then, Haiming and Diana, who had gone to kill the fallen, returned. Diana returned to her normal form and flew to my side. Her small hand gripped mine tightly. She looked like my daughter. After a fierce battle that lasted over 10 hours, the gray domain in the distance dissipated. A young man, treading on the void, crossed tens of thousands of meters in an instant. Seeing his extremely weak aura, Yang Xiao immediately went forward and asked, Brother Zhang, how did it go? Hilarious! Just a single alien throne. I can suppress it with a flip of my hand. How could there be a problem? Zhang Jue's tone was dismissive. But Diana, beside me, silently cast holy radiance. She could clearly sense that the young man before her was suffering from severe erosion by the fallen power. Zhang Jue frowned. Little girl, do you think you can heal a throne's injuries? Wait, you're an angel? Don't stop, hold it for a few more seconds. Diana shook her head. My holy power is depleted. The fallen erosion of a throne is too terrifying. Even though holy power can counter it, it can only dispel a tiny fraction. Hearing this, Zhang Jue endured his discomfort and sighed. In the end, I still carry too heavy a burden. I looked on, confused. Are all thrones like this? Yang Xiao quickly changed the subject. Brother Zhang, let me introduce you. This is Chen Lin. He's the alien's main assassination target. Zhang Ju's gaze instantly fell upon me. So you're the guy who could smash my head into the ground if we were at the same level? I was completely baffled. But he then turned to look at Haiming, who was sitting nearby. His eyes lit up. What a majestic wolf! Let me ride it! As he spoke, he was about to leap forward, but Haiming instantly dodged. Clearly, he was very unwilling. Zhang Jue's face stiffened. "What's this? You dare to reject a throne? If I don't get to ride you today, I'll eat my hat." He was about to force his way forward, but Yang Xiao stopped him. "Brother Zhang, you can't. He is a vital asset to Wuxia's future. We can't let him feel alienated." Zhang Ju slowly looked at Yang Xiao. He turned around, clasped his hands behind his back, his tone lonely and dejected. "I've achieved so much for the human race, yet I can't even ride a wolf. Let's go. We'll talk later." He slowly flew toward Hingshan base. Yang Xiao and I quickly followed. When we arrived at Yang Xiao's private office, Zhang Jue went straight to the main seat, making himself at home without any hesitation. Yang Xiao asked, "Brother Zhang, how is the situation on the front lines now? Has it gotten worse again?" For the past few years, Zhang Jue had been staying in the rear, suppressing his worsening curse. While preparing to break through to the 10th transition, he needed to coordinate with others to know about changes on the front lines. "The winged race is probably about to launch another fierce assault to wear down our effective combat strength," he said in a deep voice. "They do this every so often. Each time, at least tens of thousands of warriors are sacrificed. Even thrones might fall. Relying on their vast population, they trade life for life. But the human race is completely different. Every warrior we lose is a net loss, especially those geniuses with hidden classes. They are destined to grow into 9th transition experts in the future." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Ju tossed over a storage bag. It was filled with life crystals and various resources. "Your summons have terrifying potential. We naturally won't be stingy. The resources you deserve are far more than just this," Ying Xiao added with a smile. His words moved me. I could clearly feel how much he valued me if I had chosen to develop in secret, and then suddenly revealed my power. I might have amazed everyone, but I would have most likely been slapped to death by an alien throne. Although revealing my talent now is dangerous, the human race would never stand by and do nothing. Not only did they use a trump card to pull a throne for my protection, but the resources they provided were also extremely generous. A total of 500 level 5 and level 6 life crystals, and body-refining origin bones, each worth 1,000 contribution points. They gave them to me just like that. The reason the human race valued me wasn't because of the insane power of my summons themselves. My real trump card was my talent that could bestow terrifying power upon my summons. After chatting with Yang Xiao for a while, I took my leave. I returned to the mountain range and summoned Haiming. I fed him all the life crystals from the storage bag. Haiming instantly erupted in pitch-black flames, slowly devouring the crystals. Soon, his evolution value increased by 6,766 points, reaching 1/3 of what was needed for completion. Next, guided by the mutated beast locations provided by Xiao Ai, I decided to go deeper into the mountains to continue hunting. Over the next few days, all mutated beasts above level 50 in the Balian mountain range were completely wiped out. A total of 16 level 60 behemoths plus over 100 level 50 mutated beasts were all devoured by Haiming. His size increased by 15 meters, and all his stats increased by 30 points. At the command center, everyone was genuinely happy. With these behemoths dead and without their leaders, the risk of a stampede was minimal. The rest could be cleaned up slowly. For the next few years, the Balian mountain range would be a safe zone. Yang Xiao nodded with a smile, but he knew in his heart that things were far from over. In the outer mountain range of Wushan base, not a single mutated beast could be seen. This was not a good thing. It meant that all the mutated beasts had answered the behemoth's call and begun to gather. The students over there hardly dared to venture deep into the mountains. They had all retreated to defend the base. Over several days, they had killed fewer than 50 mutated beasts. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before those behemoths launched an attack. Now that the pressure on Hengshan base has been greatly reduced, let's gather people to support Wushan base. An hour later, just as I returned, Yang Xiao called me to his office. "Chen Lin, you've cleared out the behemoths in the Balian mountain range. I'm planning to send you to Wushan base to help clean up." I nodded without hesitation. I was just worrying about the lack of behemoths to kill here. I was already planning to find an excuse to go poach from other bases. Level 40 mutated beasts could no longer satisfy Haiming's growth needs. Seeing my reaction, Yang Xiao laughed. "The others should be ready as well. There's no time to waste. Let's set out now." I followed Yang Xiao to the base's large transport aircraft. 50 people were already gathered there. Familiar faces like Ji Fei, were also present. Ching Kong came forward happily. Chen Lin, I knew you'd come to help. Hearing that the situation at Wushan base was critical, he had agreed to come without hesitation. Ji Fei, smiling, walked up to Diana, who was holding my hand. What a perfect little angel. She must still be in her larval stage, right? Chen Lin, you better not do anything weird to her, okay? Diana looked up at me. Her eyes were full of curiosity. Master, what are weird things? Why? Can't Master do weird things to Diana? Instantly, countless gazes focused on me. Some were envious, others were dangerous. The corner of my mouth twitched. I didn't know how to respond. I could only hurry everyone onto the transport aircraft to fly to Wushan base. At this time, the atmosphere in Wushan base was tense. All the warriors were on high alert. All heavy weapons were activated. Many students were discussing in low voices. Should we still stay here? The mutated beasts have all gathered. They're definitely going to attack. The military has allowed us to leave. We can't possibly clear out all the mutated beasts now. There's no point in staying. Some people have already left. There's no way tens of thousands of mutated beasts are charging over. Who can stop them? His teammates sighed continuously, as if making excuses for their impending escape. Wang Feng clenched his fists. My family is in Wu City, he said in a deep voice. Even if the mutated beasts stampede, I won't leave, even if it means dying here. Wu City has tens of millions of people. Even with the all-out evacuation over the past few days, most people were still in the city. If they couldn't stop the mutated beasts, it wouldn't just be one city that suffered. Just then, a cyan transport aircraft broke through the clouds and slowly landed next to the Wushan base airfield. The commander of Wushan base, Kaio Yu, and a group of officers were already waiting there. Seeing Yang Xiao leading the students off the aircraft, he immediately rushed forward excitedly. General Yang, we've finally been waiting for you. He was clearly aware of Yang Xiao's identity as a 9th transition expert. Yang Xiao said helplessly, Old Kaio, my curse hasn't been lifted yet. Don't expect me to turn the tide. Kaio Yu's sharp face was instantly filled with worry. The situation is critical right now. Countless mutated beasts are gathering in 4 areas, commanded by a behemoth that's about to break through to level 70. They plan to attack from multiple directions simultaneously, making it difficult for us to respond. He sighed and asked, I saw that Hingshan base had a lot of mutated beasts. How is the pressure so light on your end? Yang Xiao smiled. In the Balian mountain range, all mutated beasts above level 50 have been killed. He did it all, he said, turning to point at me. Kaio Yu instantly pushed Yang Xiao aside and rushed excitedly in front of me. Student Chen Lin, we've finally been waiting for you. Speaking of which, my grandson Cao Yang is your roommate. Student Chen Lin, come, the things General Yang has for you are over there. I'll take you. With that, he took my hand and led me to the logistics department. Several soldiers carried out a large black box several meters wide. Cao Yu smiled. Student Chen Lin, these are all yours. That warehouse over there happens to be empty. You can go inside and take your time looking through it. I nodded and thanked him. I walked into the warehouse and opened the box. It was filled with rare metal materials and life crystals. I summoned the silver butterfly and immediately began to fuse the materials. Soon, the battle armor's weight reached 163 tons. With just a light step, the steel floor beneath my feet deformed. After fusing all the materials, the silver butterfly gained an 8-layer sharpness trait buff. Adding the previous 2 layers, it was a total of 10 layers. Now, killing an alien below level 50 in one strike was no problem at all. In addition, it also gained the molten and size-shifting traits. I nodded in satisfaction. I was already eager to go into the mountains and practice on some mutated beasts. This time, after fusing over 100 rare metals, the silver butterfly's combat power had soared several times over. I followed Kaio to an open area in the Wushan base. Over 100 people were standing here. I immediately spotted a familiar figure, Su Lingchui. Beneath her ice-colored long hair was a delicate, fair face. Her figure was slender and upright. Student Su, I went up to greet her. She returned a smile. Cao Yu stepped forward. His expression was serious. These mutated beasts, already gathered yesterday, under the command of a level 69 dark-horned behemoth, they are advancing in 4 directions, intending to launch a scattered attack, to make it difficult for us to mount a concentrated defense. Each direction is led by at least 2 behemoths, targeting Wushan Base, Wu City, and Yunhee City respectively. Your mission is to cut off the tail and intercept the straggling, mutated beasts to reduce their overall numbers and lessen the pressure on our defensive lines. For this operation, you will be divided into 8 groups, with 20 people per group. Any questions? No, everyone responded in unison. Cao Yu immediately had someone call out names to form the teams. Yang Xiao stepped forward and added, Chen Lin, you will act alone. He knew my combat strength. The others would only get in the way. I had no objections, but the people around me were full of doubt. Even the instructors needed to work in teams. What was so special about me? 2 minutes later, all 8 groups were formed. I summoned the 100-meter-tall Haiming and rushed toward the mountain range. In the mountains, the giant black wolf ran at full speed. Diana, on my back, had her arms wrapped around my neck. Her small body fluttered in the strong wind. As a newly born, naive angel, she was curious about everything and didn't want to stay in the dark, silent summoning space. I certainly wouldn't force her. Meanwhile, in the dusty mountain range, countless massive, mutated beasts crushed rocks and soil and toppled giant trees, forming a destructive torrent hundreds of kilometers long. As they advanced, at the head of the torrent, 3 terrifying 1,000-meter-long behemoths marched forward, their bodies wreathed in a ferocious aura. A faint power flowed around them. Beneath the feet of countless mutated beasts, the earth trembled for over 10,000 meters. The momentum was terrifyingly immense. Inside the command center, the many officers observing via drones had solemn expressions. Suddenly, a deafening explosion rang out. A 1,000-meter-tall figure, a savage black wolf surrounded by pitch-black flames, charged out from the side in an instant. Its speed was extreme. The air itself was torn apart, and everything within a radius of tens of kilometers was destroyed by the terrifying force. A ferocious roar echoed through the heavens and earth. The sound waves vibrated in layers. All the mutated beasts were stunned, stopping in their tracks. Cao Yu was dumbfounded. Is this how he fights? The mission was clearly to intercept the stragglers. Why did he charge straight in? There are 3 behemoths there. One of them, a demonic elephant behemoth over 800 meters tall at the shoulder, with 2 tusks curving up 100 meters and covered in crimson scales, spoke slowly. The gigantified Haiming was now too terrifying. Even if she poured all her holy power into it, she could only slightly increase Haiming's strength, constitution, and nether attributes. But under this buff, the heaven-refining death domain instantly expanded by another 20,000 meters. The power of the pitch-black flames doubled, becoming incredibly terrifying. In just a few seconds, hundreds of level 40 mutated beasts were reduced to ashes. Even their life crystals were devoured by the flames. You're courting death! Kill him! The 3 behemoths roared and charged. Just then, the sky and earth suddenly darkened. A faint moonlight scattered down, carrying a terrifying chill that made all the mutated beasts tremble. Diana stood high in the sky, her proud, cold face looking down upon the earth. A full moon hung behind her, with 9 annihilation rings wreathed in. Dark red true force circling her body. They instantly slashed toward the ghost flame behemoth. The ghost flame behemoth roared, activating its power. Strange patterns appeared on its solid skin, but they were easily cut open by the annihilation rings, leaving a wound dozens of meters deep. Feeling the intense pain, the ghost flame behemoth stopped and swatted at the annihilation rings, but they nimbly dodged. Under Diana's mental control, the rings slashed up along its arm, tearing a 100-meter-long gash. Seeing that Diana had engaged the ghost flame behemoth, Haiming, not to be outdone, instantly charged toward the remaining 2 behemoths. Any mutated beasts in his way were smashed to pieces. The demonic elephant behemoth let out a ferocious roar and swung its giant, crimson-scaled trunk, lashing it viciously at the black wolf before it. The savage phantom, without needing a command, instantly swiped out with its demonic claws burning with pitch-black flames. It directly tore through the demonic elephant's scales, leaving 4 bloody gashes deep enough to see bone. The centipede behemoth on the side opened its horrifying mandibles and launched a sudden sneak attack. Haiming reacted extremely quickly, instantly raising a paw to swat it away. Then, aiming for its head, he bit down. The dark red carapace shattered on impact. His fangs pierced through flesh and blood. Poisonous purple blood gushed out. The centipede behemoth shrieked in pain and coiled its body around Hyming, its countless sharp legs stabbing at him, but they were blocked by an unshakable layer of golden light. Hyming, with the centipede in his jaws, instantly flung it away, shattering an entire mountain peak. Countless boulders buried it. His massive body followed close behind. He raised a paw, pulverizing the boulders, and stomped the centipede behemoth's head deep into the ground, pinning it down and tearing at it ferociously. At the same time, all the flying, mutated beasts charged toward Diana in the air. Her expression remained unchanged. She controlled the annihilation rings to spin back. 4 rings charged into the dense swarm of flying beasts. As they crisscrossed through the swarm, they sliced one flying mutated beast after another in half. Just then, the ghost flame behemoth suddenly charged toward Hyming, intending to kill him first. Hyming let out a ferocious roar. His gray eyes showed no fear. With his paw still on the centipede behemoth's head, he instantly engaged in battle with the ghost flame behemoth. The 4 colossal creatures fought relentlessly, causing the earth to crack and crumble. The tremors spread for tens of thousands of meters across the sky, filled with terrifying booms and roars. Countless mutated beasts scattered in panic, afraid of being caught in the aftershock. The command center was dead silent. Kaoyu watched, dumbfounded. Holy crap! How is this wolf so fierce? It's only level 20, but it can fight 3 behemoths to a standstill. That's a level gap of 46 levels. The many officers swallowed hard, staring at the screen in disbelief. At this point, the mountain range had turned into a hellscape of burning pitch-black flames. The 4 behemoths fought madly, their battle shaking the heavens and earth. That savage demonic shadow, over 1,000 meters tall, emanated a terrifying, savage aura that seemed to devour millions of lives. It was almost suffocating. At that moment, Diana in the sky stopped fighting. She had slaughtered all of the hundreds of flying, mutated beasts, their mangled corpses piled up on the ground. Then, the annihilation rings began to circle and merge. The dark red light grew increasingly brilliant. As the terrifying power flowed, even the air was annihilated. The 9 rings merged into one, forming a 100-meter-long dark red ring blade that floated in front of Diana. An aura of annihilation that terrified all the beasts swept out. The dark red annihilation true force spun with the ring blade. The silver-white full moon behind her gradually turned deep red. The sky and earth, for tens of thousands of meters, were illuminated by the red light, as if they had fallen into hell. At this moment, the full moon's strongest annihilation form descended. Diana's indifferent, emotionless voice slowly spread. Embrace your death. Instantly, the dark red light of the annihilation true wheel shone to its brightest, transforming into a terrifying red shadow that tore through the sky and slashed toward the centipede behemoth. The moment it made contact, the annihilation true wheel didn't pause for an instant. It passed directly through the centipede behemoth's 1,000-meter body. In just a few seconds, the centipede behemoth was reduced to a blurry pulp. With just a single strike, she had directly killed a level 65 behemoth. Such terrifying power, even I couldn't help but be astonished. The armor-piercing effect of Diana's annihilation form was so terrifying it was almost absolute, and she still had an even more terrifying sun-moon form. However, the deep red full moon faded slightly at this moment. This move clearly consumed a great deal of Diana's energy. She still had strength to spare. She mentally controlled the annihilation true wheel, instantly slashing at the ghost flame behemoth nearby. The ghost flame behemoth's mind exploded with fear. It immediately grew a thicker, harder stone skin, but it was useless. The annihilation true wheel instantly split its body in 2. Then, the deep red full moon in the sky finally couldn't hold on, and quickly dissipated. Diana's slender, perfect body instantly reverted to its child form. Her proud, indifferent face showed a trace of innocence. She blinked, then quickly flapped her wings, searching for her master's figure. On the other side, Hyming also quickly finished off the demonic elephant behemoth. Hyming stood amidst the sea of pitch-black fire. The black flames devoured the bodies of the fallen behemoths. In the command room, Kaoyu was also a bit dazed. He found it absolutely incredible. The original mission was just to intercept a portion of them, but I had managed to intercept all the mutated beasts. A single person had swept through an entire area, scattering a horde of tens of thousands of mutated beasts. His impact was several times greater than everyone else combined. In that case, the threat of the group attacking Wu City was resolved. Cao Yu's face was flushed with excitement, much of his worry washed away. Originally, their chances of defending were less than 10%, but now there was hope. In the mountains, the pitch-black flames quickly devoured all the corpses and life crystals, then returned to Haiming's body. Under the converted energy, he grew another meter. His size and stats all increased by 2 points at the same time. Through the feedback, I also gained 1 point to all my stats. The energy converted from the behemoths wasn't much for Haiming anymore, but it was different for me. Even getting just 1/3 of it was a significant boost. Now, my stats were not much worse than a level 30 hidden class user. Therefore, with the terrifying buff from the silver butterfly, I could blast a level 40 mutated beast to pieces in one go. As for level 50 mutated beasts, it would take a dozen or so more hits. Facing some of the weaker behemoths head-on was no longer a problem for me now, and my next target was the group attacking Wu City.